da 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 My beautiful, beautiful friends. What a spectacular day it is to get banned from your preferred streaming platform, huh? Don't mind me, just came out of the shower. It is pretty early over here. It was all a performance piece in a spectacularly selfless display of inquisitiveness. I have proven that left-leaning people are not unfavorably privileged in when it comes to Twitch moderation. I have proven with my sacrifice, I have laid myself out to the pyre, pinned myself to the cross, and now we know factually that they'll ban left-leaning people too. How does he do it? Time and time again, pushing the boundaries, pushing the envelope. I'll tell you. It's my skull shape. It's all skull shape. Phrenology was right. It's not because I'm white either. It's because I'm 6'1" 3/4. That's the ratio. Now, for those of you who don't know, I got banned off of Twitch indefinitely. I've appealed the ban. It's possible, maybe even likely, that they reduce the length of the ban. We'll see how it goes. The reason I got banned... The reason why I got banned is because I went pretty hard. I was reading a fashy article on Israel, and this was a fashy article. It was, that the Israeli culture and Israeli people are natural, or like divinely great, and they should have limitless freedom to expand without consideration to others. That it was a mistake of generosity that they allowed the Palestinian people to continue existing within their borders, that they have a moral right to expand and conquer the rest of the Middle East. It was full-on fashy. And I got real upset, and I started talking about how the United States should go and bomb Israel. I stand by the preeminent statement there that Israel is a fascist apartheid ethno-state and a threat to regional security in the Middle East. So I'm holding by that, okay? I'm pretty sure if I said we should go bomb Russia or we should go bomb North Korea, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have gotten banned. But I understand in this political climate, there are a whole lot of alt-righters who take my perfectly academically backed criticisms of Israel and extrapolate them into anti-Semitism. I do understand that in this political climate, things get dicey. Things get indeterminate. And it is for that reason that I am not angry at Twitch. Unless they don't make my ban temporary. In which case I'll be mad forever. They banned you for the German shouty speech about Israel, though, right? No, I don't think that's what I was banned for. That shit was funny as fuck. There was a part of the article that was talking about like literally Lebensraum, like the Israel's right to expand and they should have room because they're the naturally superior culture. I translated that segment into German and gave my own little Hitler speech version of it. It was pretty funny. It was pretty edgy. It was pretty edgy. I know you guys would have liked it if you were there. Well, it's funny too because I know I was confusing some alt-righters towards the end of that stream because I titled my stream like "Fuck Israel, fuck fascists, fuck ethno-states" or something like that, and people were coming in there like, "Yeah, fuck Israel, fucking Jews." And I could tell. I could tell that they didn't really know how to feel about what was going on. I don't think they know you can criticize Israel from a non-anti-Semitic place. But what's especially funny is that what's his name? I forget his name. Here, wait, I can check on Discord. That one guy, Flamenco, that co-host for the Kill Stream, which is that alt-right internet blood sports debate stream that I'll be appearing on. Not today, sometime in the indefinite future. Flamenco messaged me, and he was like, "Oh man, you got banned. Hope you get it overturned. That's lame, man." And I was like, "Yeah, man. Just just goes to show the fucking lefties aren't discriminated against here either." And he goes in this tirade against me, and he starts trying to like red pill me on Jewish control of the media. Really fucking funny. Oh, also. I'm still working on stuff like super chats and getting monetization enabled. I have to say, YouTube live streaming, not quite as intuitive as Twitch live streaming. If you want to make a big old noise and get your message over to me, though, what you can do is you can use my Streamlabs donation link, which is in the description of the stream. Very convenient. How wonderful. Huge. Now, Jewish conspiracies aside, are we fucking ready for it? Are we ready for our very first live stream on YouTube? Think of all of the people that I've brought in who are utterly unfamiliar with my content. Think of all of the people that I've brought in who are at the very least unfamiliar with my stream content. Incredible. Here, I'll try and turn super chats on, okay? Hold on. Click. Advanced settings. Recording, content declaration, in loan betting, age restriction. Whoa! Age restriction prevents me from monetizing. No, 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 no! I want that shit. Give me that shit. Enable live chat. Yeah, we save that. There we go. No longer age restricted. Look at that. Kablamo. Kapow. Kablam. We did it. Good job, team. Monetization, monetize with ads, ad formats. That doesn't show super chats here. Weird. Well, I'll figure out more about this as time goes on. In the meantime, of course, if you do want to get a donation through, do it on Streamlabs. So, super chat. Remember to send me those equivalents of the super chat. But we cannot waste time all day with chatting about my Twitch man. Okay? That's not what we're here for. Hey! Kalina Kelly, thank you so much for the Dollarino. That's nice. So Streamlabs donations just show up. Did Kalina Kelly just send me $2 redos? Oh my god. Oh my god! I don't know what's a super chat and what's a Streamlabs donation. Incredible. Kalina Kelly, thank you so much for the $2. And Androfovst, thank you very much for the $2 redos. I really appreciate that, friends. I don't have a Vosh Pit anymore. That was my subscriber club. But you know what? You two are honorary Vosh Pit inductees. You hear that? Oh, those are super chats? Oh, they made a noise. Fascinating. And Austin J431232 just donated $5 to me. That's what the noise was. The Streamlabs donation of $5. And, oh! Yeah, just bring it in. Yeah.
Hope you get back to Twitch soon, Bread Ren.
Kyra, thank you so much for the one... Thank you so much.
Israel more like his fake goddamn.
Kyref, thank you very much for the $100. I actually really appreciate it. Thank you. Welcome to 20 Vosh Pits simultaneously. Aiden Hearn, thank you for the $5. That is incredibly generous of you. Not as generous as $100, but it's still $5 redues. Nihilistic Dogma, thank you so much for the $2. I really fucking appreciate it, my friend. Wow. Kablam. Amazing. Yeah, Hyena. That bet's coming through real quick. Harry the Alquat, thank you very much for the $5.69. Spanky with the $32.51. All right, does this mean I can end the stream? I just made my...
Access has never been this easy. Thanks for the content, Vush.
Does this mean I can shut down my stream now? I've already made like fucking $200. Am I good? Did I do it? All right, good stream, guys. I'll be back tomorrow. Harry the Owlcat for $5.69. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Likewise to Spanky with the $32.51. That is incredibly generous of you. I don't know why you guys are adding random numbers of cents afterwards. Maybe you're European. Pete the Wookiee with the $4.20. That makes a lot more sense to me, because that's the weed number. Please give tips on how to shut down the Jewish conspiracies. My landlords believe it. I've got a book by Peter Phillips, Granting the Global Power Elite, that looks at the top 389 most powerful people in capitalism, so I hope that'll help. I will talk about that soon, actually. I think that'd be an excellent topic for discussion. And Safety Skull, thank you very much for the $7.15. Boy, oh boy, how am I ever going to talk about politics? Oh, man. Mr. House, thank you very much for the $5 dues. Any chance you could stream after 5 p.m. EST sometimes? Hard to watch your streams on busy ways living with the corporate overlords? Yes, I would be more than happy to do more late-night streams. I will work on it. I love you guys. Wow, that sure was a lot of money to start the day with. I'm just gonna... Whew. Ooh. Lenye Uwarn. Thank you very much for the $1. Somebody just said, yes, Vosh has officially reached the point of ignoring non-super chats. I've been streaming on YouTube for $1 for 13 minutes. Okay, give me some time to get used to the change in setup, okay? This is very different. Hey! And 500 yen from Sarkame. I don't know how that'll translate into dollary dues, but I'm glad you're here. Hello, welcome from Japan. That is incredibly generous of you. Oh, I got 100 rubles, not dollars, nerd. Oh, you know what? Every unit of currency is $1 to me. Thank you, leftist tech support. This is what I wanted to do before, but Twitch banned you before I could set up a profile. Thank you so much, Agate-ophobia Dragon, for the 10. It's actually $10, not rubles. I looked. It's actually $10. I looked at the sign, and it said dollars instead of rubles. Nice going, me. How did I manage? Oh man, this is absurd. Safety Skull, thank you for the Australian $10. Dead Context, thank you so much for the $19.17. The generosity that you all are throwing my way right off the bat is incredible, indescribable, and at the same time keeping me from getting into some political shit. So how about, listen, okay, I want to start us off. I want to start us off with some nice, fun, calm shit. Madam Muff, thank you very much for the $3.57. Can I just say I'm so proud to have betrayed my straight rail white nationalist pals and sold my race out becoming a trans girl commie? Fuck yeah. The existence of every trans girl out there is a blow against fascism, okay? Just you existing is a weapon against them. Okay, we gotta... My friends, listen. From the Ben Shapiro Show, presented to us by the Daily Wire, Ben Shapiro and Lauren Chen discuss solid dating advice for young women, despite what feminists are telling them. I think this is a very important video for us to go over, okay? Do you understand? I don't think you guys understand. It is very important to me that we go over this video. This is how we're bringing in the fucking... This is how we're bringing it in.
So let's talk a little bit about dating. So
By the way, again, new streaming setup. Let me know how the audio balancing is. My voice compared to the YouTube videos. Hey! Aiden Hearn, thank you very much for the $2 dues. Bash the Fash comrade, I agree completely. What an excellent sentiment for you to share my way.
You are now engaged, so let's have some advice for young women who are looking to get engaged, who are looking to get married. What exactly should they be looking for in a guy?
Be with a guy that wants the same things that you want. I think a lot of guys out there, a lot of women out there too,
Long-time
unfortunately,
YouTube
they're not
viewer.
looking
Normally can't catch your stream at work, but I'm watching on break. Love the content.
I'm glad to hear that. Fuck, I can't even fucking blow my nose without having to manage the stream. Thank you, friend. I'll check your donation out in a moment.
for things like marriage or children or whatever. I've been called too picky for saying this, but it's absolutely true. If you are committed to getting married and having kids, then you need to be looking for someone who wants the same things that you do.
Okay, I agree.
So, you know, there are a lot of great people out there, and there are a lot of guys you might meet and date and have fun with. But at the end of the day, if he's not interested in marriage and children, then don't think that you can change him into being whoever you want. So definitely.
So far, I completely agree with what's being said. If you want marriage and kids, then you got to be cognizant of that when selecting for partners.
Prioritize someone who wants the same things that you do in life.
It seems to me that for a lot of young women who I see who are unhappy, this is true for young men too, but it's certainly true for young women, that a lot of the unhappiness springs from a certain war with reality, that men are not what they want men to be. What do you think it is that women don't generally understand about men? Like if you had to sum up men as a half of the species in a few sentences, what do you think it is that men are? What do men want?
I think men ultimately, and this is probably not true for a good number of men who have, like women, been influenced by third wave feminism, but men
Oh no.
traditionally have wanted to be protectors and providers for their families.
Oh,
So
no.
I think ultimately a lot of women my age, we look at men and we might see that kind of behavior as, I don't know, belittling or benevolently sexist or things like that, which is too bad because I think relationships work best when people aren't the same, but rather when they complement each other. So I think with men, women kind of need to be a little bit more aware that he's not just going to be like one of your girlfriends. He's going to be different, and that's okay. And you shouldn't be trying to make him into one of your girlfriends or make him as feminine as possible. Relationships.
Make him as feminine as possible? Is this a consistent problem that people are having in their relationships out in the dating scene? I'm pretty fucking masculine, I gotta say. When I'm out there hitting up the clubs, I'm just kidding. I don't hit up any clubs ever. I always date over the internet, okay? And then I meet them in person. But when I'm out there hitting up the clubs and I'm meeting up with, I gotta say, I haven't met many girls who are like, you're too masculine. I'm hooking up with you. You're too masculine, though. I need to feminize you so that I do not feel patronized and paternalized by your protective nature, by your natural breadwinner sort of aura that you project from your body. I have not had that dilemma. And while I have paused,
Descartes walks into a bar and the barkeep asks Descartes if he would like a beer. Descartes replies, "I think not," and disappears.
shut the fuck up. I only barely know enough about philosophy to get that joke. You straddled up to the line. If you had told a joke that I didn't understand the premise of, I would have killed you instantly, from a distance with my thoughts. But because I just barely knew enough to understand that joke, you get to live another day. Congratulations. Give me more money to try your luck again. Mike Cock, I've never sent you money, but Google has made it so easy. I can't tell you how happy I am that Google has made it easier for you to give me money. Thank you very much for the $5. And likewise, thank you, Bubba7012, for the $5. Enjoy your vids, have yet to catch an actual stream. Thanks for the hours of entertainment. Oh boy, we'll be dunking on Shappy today. We are indeed going to be dunking on Shappy today. And Lifehacks, thank you very much for the $1.99. I am Lifehacks, dude, you rock. That's what I'm saying. Voyager Dystrophis for the €2. I promise I will indeed take your gamer virginity sometime in the near future. Agate Aphobia Dragon, I can be feminine as fuck and still want to provide for my wife. I completely agree. What about the Dom Butches out there? What about the Dom Butch representation? Can we all take a fucking moment to recognize the existence of Dom Butches who go out there and provide for their wives? Oh no. Jojo Wax, thank you Thank you very much for the $5. Longtime YouTube viewer, normally can't catch your stream at work, but I'm working on break. Love the content. Really glad to hear you enjoy the content. I'm going to keep it coming, too. It's not stopping. You should react to the latest PragerU video, Pronouns in Prison. It actually made me laugh out loud. That is on the chopping block today. Descartes walks into a bar. 6. Thanks for the $6. Fuck you. Sam McIntern. I'm watching your stream. I've watched your YouTube uploads and really enjoyed them. Listening to you eviscerate these fools really helped me get off the night shift in the factory. Thank you so much for the $5 redos. I'm really glad that I can help you as we all strive together to make it through our wage labor existences. Don donated $2 and said, "Hey Vosh, I'm super pumped to finally catch one of your streams live." Thank you. And likewise, Alex Johnson in the super chats, $2. Sorry you got cucked by Twitch. Let's keep going. To those of you in chat who are not currently patronizing me with a truly obscene amount of money, I would just like to let all of you know that as things slow down a little bit, I am going to get better at reading the non-super chat, non-donation chats. It is extremely important to me that I maintain that connection with the community, whether I'm Twitch or on YouTube. However, I am at this moment, admittedly, slightly discombobulated. So let's get back to this. Nope, not this. This. I think I skipped ahead in the video.
So definitely prioritize someone who.
In a few sentences, what do you think it is that a lot of the unhappy seems to me that
Definitely prioritize someone who wants the same things that you do in life.
Right, okay, so I agree with that. What this reminds me very much of the Jordan Peterson tactic to discussing sort of social norms. This woman, what's this bitch's name? Lauren Chen. What's your deal? So she's a YouTuber. Ooh, on Rational Wiki. Uh-oh. 300K subscribers, 24 million views. I want that many subs. In a video titled "People of Color, You Are Not Oppressed," Chen claims that people of color are not oppressed. Phenomenal video synthesis, Rational Wiki. All right, that's all I need to know about this bitch. So we're doing kind of the Jordan Peterson style of argumentation here, where you make these kind of like objectively fine, like you make statements that are really difficult to refute. Like, hey, if you're interested in marriage and having a kid, then you should look for people who are also interested in that. Don't waste your time with people trying to change them into what you want them to be. I agree with that. That's super great advice. Okay, agreed, 100%. Every single one of you should be listening to that advice. But then they go on to say, and I think especially after third wave feminism, a lot of women feel like maybe the way that men act or are supposed to act, where they're like the breadwinners and the providers and stuff, I feel like a lot of women consider that to be sort of patronizing and paternalizing. That is a fucking Jordan Peterson claim right there, because that is when you take the sweet descriptive essence, the nourishment, the factual statement, that, hey, if you want these outcomes, you probably should look for other people who share your values concerning sex, marriage, and dating and children and what have you. And that is when you pile on the normative claims about how people should behave, how people should act. It's very slippery here. We're about to begin again. Robert Dawson, thank you so much for the $5. I gotta say, I'm not happy to be on YouTube streaming right now. I do quite like Twitch, but let's not make a mountain out of a molehill. Hey, Vosh, very happy to catch you live for once. You're better than Destiny's job 10,000 times. Love you better than Destiny. Love your content. I love you too, friend. Your content, I don't know what it is, but whatever it is, whether that maybe you cook a really mean meal, I don't know what your creative production is, but whatever it is, I bet it's fucking amazing.
it seems to me that for a lot of young women who I see who are unhappy, this is true for young men too, but it's certainly true for young women, that
By the way, the modern Casanova, Ben Shapiro, who can't even get Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez to send him her feet pics, talking to us about dating strategies.
a lot of the unhappiness springs from a certain war with reality, that men are not what they want men to be. What do you think it is that women don't?
And ultimately, protectors and providers for their family.
Yeah,
a little bit more aware that he's not just going to be like one of your girlfriends. He's going to be different, and that's okay. And you shouldn't be trying to make him into one of your girlfriends or.
See, like, what does this statement mean? Make him into one of your girlfriends? Wait, what does that mean? He's not just going to be one of your friends? I legitimately don't understand what this statement means. Are we talking about like, hey, like, is this a problem of like girls going out and they've got like their girlfriends and they're like, I like mimosas, and then they get a boyfriend and then the boyfriend's like, hello, I am a provider, I am rugged and strong, and then the woman's like, no, haha, mimosas, slumber parties, and then the guy becomes feminized and he turns into a trans girl naturally, with big titties. And then the girl goes, no, I'm attracted to men. What happened? I don't think this happens. Is this a modern dating crisis? Bluebearded, thank you very much for 50 units of the currency I can't identify. Told you to be well endowed, beautiful too. Please do chat us in the future. Stay safe. Bluebearded, I love you. We're gonna make it. We're gonna make it through this, okay? I love you.
Make him as feminine as possible. Relationships work best when you kind of you accept the other person. It doesn't mean you're going to think they're perfect in any way, but don't try to fundamentally change the personality or beliefs of your partner, because that's just not going to work.
And what do you think it is that young men don't understand about women? Because obviously we're seeing people getting married later and later. That's having some pretty terrible consequences for the society, less responsibility taking. What? But what do men not get about women? If you could tell guys out there.
Can we demonstrate that factually, that people getting married later in life is a product of or subsequently causes less responsibility taking? What
to expect from women? What exactly would you be telling me?
This is a really hard question because I look at modern women and I feel like I don't understand them, and I forget who said this quote, but what is it? The only people who understand
bitches ain't shit but lies and tricks? Is that?
And women are other women and they hate them. So it's like, I don't, what is it? The only people who understand women are other women and they hate them. So it's like.
But I like how Ben laughs at that, even though it's objectively unfunny. I fucking hate this meme, by the way. The meme like women are so hard to understand. Ha! Einstein was the smartest man in human history, and even he couldn't understand women. It's guys, it's so easy. They're people. I'm not trying to lib cuck you here or anything. I'm not trying. They're really just like people, except they tend to be like more frail, and they often have boobies, but not always. Like that. Like that's. What do I think of dating right wingers just to hate fuck them? I don't. My dick is a gift. Okay, I don't share it with people with whom I share political disagreements. Dylan A, thank you very much for the $6.66. I agree. Fuck cis people, except for me, of course. And John Noriega, thank you very much for the $1 And again, 50 units of an SE key currency. What is this? South Korean? I don't know. D Menti, thank you for 50. Oh, Swedish kronor. Kronor. Is that what the name of their currency is? I thought they doesn't Sweden have euros? Am I wrong? Oh, well, thank you. Thank you, D Menti. I appreciate it. So what the fuck was I talking about? What was I talking about? Oh, yeah. Guys, seriously, women are very similar to men. Like I like to say, there is nothing in this universe more similar to man than woman. And I'm being very binary here in this respect because I'm trying to operate within the confines that they act within. Obviously, gender is fucking bimodal and sex is bimodal too, though to less of an extent. So the dichotomy fucking breaks down if you look at it for more than 10 seconds without your eyes crossed. But even operating within their own paradigm, women and men are. It's like back in the 1950s, you know, when the man comes home from work at the factory and he hangs up his hat and coat at the stand next to the door, and he walks home and he growls at his wife like, "You got dinner ready?" And the wife's like, Harold, I've been thinking, I might want to try a spinning class. Why do you need a spinning class? You've got everything that you need here at home. Yes, but I thought it might be nice to leave the house No. You need to stay here and take care of the kids. And then he like walks by and the wife just sort of like stands up like, oh, okay. I mean, he makes the money. And in the guy's mind, he's like, I legitimately don't understand what the fuck just happened. What is wrong with women? I don't know. I feel like the inability to understand women from a man's perspective is born almost exclusively out of sociopathy, like not treating them like human beings.
Like, I don't really know what to say to that. But I think for men, if you can find a woman who's got similar values as you, then I think something that I know I'm really happy my fiance understands about me is that we are not going to have the same, like we're not going to have the same, I guess, outlook as you guys do when it comes to things like money and career, and that's okay, right? Because I notice even like I'll have people in interviews ask me like, where do you want to be in like 5 years or 10 years? And honestly, all of my plans long term revolve around family and relationships. And for a while I would feel really bad about that, but it's like, well, that's, I'm a young woman who wants to get married and have kids, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I think men nowadays, a lot of men do find that kind of strange, but historically, it's really par for the course.
Today, I'm going to
oh! Don't fucking shout at me. Jesus, not even the 10-second fucking warning, the little that we do beforehand. Okay, is there somebody that I need to mod? Somebody keeps complaining that I don't mod them. Iron. Whoever you are, who are you and why should I mod you? Oh, leftist tech support. You're completely right. Hold on. I should announce to my Discord. There we go. A calm, sensible message to let them know what I'm up to. Trans rights. Oh, is lesbillionaire? Well, how the fuck am I supposed to know that? What the fuck? Jesus Christ. Why would you... All right, good luck, mods. I love you guys. All right, what are we up to right now? All right, listen. Are you guys ready for this? Prager University. The only university course is guaranteed to make you stupider. So here we go. We've got preferred pronouns or prison. Are you ready to learn about C-16? Are you ready to hear about the New York bill? Are you ready to... Maybe Jordan Peterson is presenting this one. Who is it? Oh, it's this lady. Man, conservative lady's got the fucking crazy eyes. Woo-wee! Look at this. These are the eyes of a lifetime of succeeding in spite of everyone around you telling you that you're a woman and should lower your expectations and probably just have kids, and internalizing all of it. This is going to be a fun one. I'm going to focus on this, all right? If you give me any super chats while I'm doing this, I gotta focus on this, because let me tell you, Prager University videos take 100% of my brain matter to deal with. Let me tell you, the arguments put forth in these videos, in this video series, are of the highest caliber. The highest caliber, okay? I can't fuck around. I can't fuck around with these ones, okay? I need to nose to the grindstone. Let's do it. There, guys, I did it. Look, I made it so the screen shares. I set up hotkeys so that I could do that without alt-tabbing to OBS. It makes me feel cool. Oh, wait, you didn't see the conservative crazy eye lady. Whoop! Look at that. Here, wait, actually, we'll get to her live. Let's do it.
If you want to control people's thoughts, begin by controlling their words.
I agree completely. The language we use does affect the way we think and our behavior. That's why I say you probably shouldn't say the N-word and the F-slur and stuff. I'm on YouTube. I can say the N-word. I'm not going to do it. Very tempting. I'm not going to do it, though. It's tempting. It's very tempting. but I'm not going to do it. Hey, Artful of Mule Nut, for the thank you very much for the Canadian $2 dues. I love you. You're beautiful. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, I agree completely. The words we use. So if you're on like 4chan, and people are constantly saying like N-word, F-word, N-word, F-word, R-word, F-word. Constantly, I agree that can shape our thoughts and in turn shape our behavior. Thank you for making my libcuck argument that people should moderate their behavior.
That's totalitarian thinking.
Actually, it is just how language works. Man, we started out hot. Okay.
If you want to control people's thoughts, begin by controlling their words. That's totalitarian thinking.
You remember when in kindergarten class you said you got really angry when you stubbed your toe and you called the wall a shitbag and you got in trouble for the rest of that class period? That was totalitarian thinking. Do you remember when you were posting for advice on an auto mechanic support forum because you're kind of a DIY auto amateur yourself, and you were trying to figure out how to fix this one sort of circuitous problem that you needed internet help with, and one person because you're black, and one person responded and saw your profile pic and called you the N-word and then got banned subsequently afterwards? That was totalitarian thinking on the mod's part. Anytime you restrict what a person can say, or suggest they say something else, or indicate that the things they say can affect their behavior, totalitarianism. Bam! We found it, boys!
It was once completely foreign to America.
All the founding fathers were slave owners. You know that slaves were forbidden in many cases from speaking their old language, from singing their old songs, from practicing their old religion, because the founding fathers and the other slave owners didn't want them to bring those barbarous practices back to America. Is that totalitarian thinking, or does it not count because they're black?
Not anymore. Increasingly, Americans are forced to use language against their will or even their conscience.
Forced to use language against their will. Has this happened to you guys? Because I think my ban on Twitch yesterday demonstrated that nothing is stopping me from using the language I would like to use. Oh, man. Kahoku Damaso, language precedes identity or whole identity is formed by the words you are taught and their definitions. I completely agree. Thank you very much for the $5. And Creative Nothing, Prigger, you were the kind of people who thought George Orwell was a capitalist and wrote 1984 to own libs. Unquestionably. I have never met a conservative who actually understood what 1984 was about. Thank you for the $5. I have never been told in my life that I have to think or speak a certain way, that I'm forced to use certain language. Other institutions have just determined that they do not want to freely associate with me if I engage in language that they believe hurts their brand. I thought, this is free market. What do you want? What do you want?
Or be prepared to suffer the consequences. And those consequences can be dire. Take, for example...
Wait, I thought they were being forced to use speech. Wait. She said forced to use this speech, but then she said... or suffer social consequences. Yeah. If I run down fucking 3rd Street Promenade in Los Angeles in a suit and tie screaming the N-word at the top of my lungs, I will face social consequences for that behavior, believe it or not. Pretty severe ones, actually. That's it? That's totalitarian? I thought she was going to paint a scenario in which people had no choice but to use certain language. But now we're just talking about use it or you get a social condemnation.
Are forced to use language.
Oh, man. Oh, we're 15 seconds in and it's already so stupid. Oh,
against
no.
their will or even their conscience, or be prepared to suffer the consequences. And those consequences can be dire. Mm-hmm. Take, for example, the issue of transgenderism, the newest civil rights battle of our time.
civil rights battle in quotation marks, as though it's not actually a civil rights battle, as though it's not actually a marginalized community fighting for civil rights.
A decade ago, few people could even tell you what the word transgender meant. Today, expressing the wrong opinion on the issue can cost you your business or job or both.
Yeah. Yeah, yes, being a bigot can mean that individuals or institutions no longer want to freely associate with you. That's the beauty of the free market. Prager University, you wouldn't want to compel businesses to keep you as an employee if they feel as though your views are antithetical to their workplace culture. Would you? Because that sounds a little bit totalitarian, PragerU. It sounds to me like you're just mad that you got to not say bad shit about trans people and get hurt and get called out on it.
Consider recent state and local actions punishing those who decline to use an individual's pronouns of choice. In 2017, California Governor Jerry Brown.
I love the Hitler angle on Jerry Brown here. You know, it's like they've rosterized a photo of him looking sternly out into the distance, like a cold, hard dictator.
Signed legislation threatening jail time for healthcare professionals who willfully and repeatedly refuse to use a patient's preferred pronouns.
Yeah, good. Yeah. The existence of transgender people and the legitimacy of transness, like as a state of being, a condition, is a medical consensus at this point. In the DSM-5, not only is transness not a mental illness, but transitioning, that is to say, if you were born with a dongo, taking the estrogen to make your dinghy explode and you grow big tits, transitioning is recommended as the most effective medical treatment to the actual neurological disorder, which is gender dysphoria, the extreme state of discomfort one feels when they feel as though their body doesn't match with their gendered projection of oneself. Cool. So, yeah, if you're a medical healthcare professional and your bigotry is keeping you from accurately identifying the identity and the medical status of the person that you're with, yeah, hey, you know what? And if you're black and you go to a doctor and you fucking lie down in the thing and the doctor starts musing to himself, all right, now, I'm going to need to bring the anesthesiologist in here to inject the anesthetic right here at the base of your temple. We will, of course, need to bring in a specialized practitioner for the bumped, raggedy nature of the Negro skull prevents traditional methods. That this person could also be fined or serve jail time. This is fairly reasonable. This is quite reasonable. Hold up. Space Cowboy, thank you so much for the $4.99. I'm happy to have your subscription, my friend. Lazy Leftist donates $5 and says, infinite love, comrade. Please do your in-depth, nuanced thoughts on USSR, Cuba, etc. Perhaps response was USSR Socialist by Hakeem. Bash the Fash. Bash the Fash, my friend. That would be an interesting discussion and a contentious one. €2 and 29 Eurolits? Eurolits? What's the is there a euro penny? Pence? €2 and 29 pence? Eurolits? What is your tendency? My tendency is to battle, my friend. And King Tide with the Australian $5. I watch your videos all the time while I program. Only fair I give you something back. Mutual aid, a factor of evolution. Thank you, my friend. Solidarity amongst comrades. I love you. And Norwegian Prince for the $2 EU, $2 euros. I love your beard too, if you have one. Chaz likes cake. Thank you very much for the €5. That is incredibly generous of you. Oh, the small denomination of euro is a cent? Is that true? That's dumb. Why'd you rip that from us? Euro cents? Wait, fucking Jesus Christ, the plagiarism from these assholes. Fucking idiots. We fucking pension that. Let's focus.
Under guidelines issued in 2015 by New York City's Commission on Human Rights, employers, landlords, and business owners who intentionally use the wrong pronoun with transgender workers and tenants face potential fines of as much as $250,000.
Yeah, get fucked. You're a landlord. You're barely even human. Give me that money. This is because trans people have been the condition of transness has been added into the at least in New York, into the docket of protected classes. Who are granted certain immunities when it comes to your employment status or your status as a tenant, like when you're being rented. So you also can't discriminate against people for their race, their nationality, their religion, their ethnicity, their marital status, whether or not they have children. And they just added trans people into that. This is a pre-existing law, protected classes all over the country. Everyone acknowledges this. The Supreme Court has upheld the existence of protected classes. We're just slipping trans people into that definition. Oh my God. Lenye Uweme thought about the Twitch streamer that did blackface. First of all, thank you for the $2 for two. It seems like the Twitch streamer who did blackface didn't really like mean it in a blackface way, and they weren't American, right? So it looks like they didn't even understand blackface's like cultural context. But then again,
Solidarity from Europe, comrade. Trans rights are human rights.
Trans rights are human rights. So, but then again, non-American cultures have also done like the blackface thing to an extent. I don't know. It seemed to me like she didn't intend it in a racist way. And in this case, I think intent does kind of matter. Because blackface doesn't literally harm anyway. It's just representative of long-standing bigotry. I don't know. It's a tough one. Ferdavs Yuldashev. Thank you very much for the $5.
I just found out I will not fail soil science, so take my money and don't get banned here.
And A. Ribber with the 50 DKKs. I sure don't know what those are. Why is leftist tech support not writing in all caps today? Pepe Hands lip so glad. Because he's calmed down a little bit. Bunny Sunny Mew, happy to have you here. Should hate speech be 100% legal in the USA? I mean, there's already no such thing as hate speech. The protections for freedom of speech are limited in calls for incitement to violence or for chaos or what have you. Should hate speech be 100% legal? I'm not really comfortable with the United States government determining what does and does not constitute hate speech, because I don't want some dipshit Republican fucking Supreme Court passing like, hey, hate speech against Nazis is the same as hate speech against, say, Democrats. So saying bash the fash is exactly the same as saying like lynch all the Democrats. I don't want them making that decision. I don't fucking know. A gatophobia dragon. It's so funny when you misgender cisgender people. Yeah, it probably is. Be sure, get the fuck out that apartment, my dude. You deserve better. Oh, I mean, I think it's a nice, no, it's a really small apartment, but it's nice. The water pressure is good. We have, diligent landlords, decent state of repair, no bugs or rats. Thank you for the $10. I'm going to check. I'm so bad at fucking staying focused here. Silent Pain 11, solidarity from your comment, trans rights to human rights. I completely agree. Thank you so much for the $5. And a Jew for you donates 666 and says, I just found out I will not fail soil science. Take my money, don't get mad here. Hey, at least in my university, soil science was incredibly difficult. Congratulations, a Jew for you. That's a serious accomplishment. I'm proud of you. Let's keep it going. Fuck, when I turn this into a fucking YouTube video, like when I cut this, like I respond to the Prager University video, I'm going to have to cut out so much of me responding to donations.
That's a steep price for saying he instead of she instead of he, or even he or she instead of they.
Yeah, and it's also a steep price to pay if you say the N-word instead of saying Tyrone. Oh no, Tyrone, wait, Tyrone-Nigger. The same number of letters. You could make the mistake so easily. You'll fucking fine me $250,000 for such an innocent mistake?
What about the vast majority of citizens who hold the biology-based view that chromosomes determine your sex, male or female?
Chromosomes do, for the most part, determine your sex. Gendered pronouns refer to gender. The transphobe arguments get so fucking boring every time. It's the same shit every time. Listen, guys, here's an argument that I came up with, okay? I don't think I've heard anyone else say this before, okay? But here's an argument you can use if you're arguing with some transphobe who believes that, like, gender and sex are the same thing and chromosomes determine what is and is not a man or a woman, okay? Here's the argument that I'd use. When were chromosomes discovered, okay? Let's find out. Okay, a series of experiments beginning in the mid-1880s, though it seems likely that it will be at least several decades before the nature of chromosomes as they relate to sex would truly be discovered. Okay? Here's an argument that you can use, okay? When were chromosomes discovered? Around the turn of the 20th century. Cool, all right? How did they define man and women before? How did they do that? When Shakespeare wrote on, like, the essence of man and woman, were they, like, wrong? How did they describe men and women prior to the existence of chromosomes? They seem to have a pretty foundational understanding, and transphobes will say this, like, we've known about men and women throughout history. All cultures have their men and women. And okay, to an extent, that's correct. But they didn't use chromosomes to describe what does and does not constitute a man or a woman. And when chromosomes were discovered, people did not throw their arms up and say, we've done it. We've found it. This is what it means to be a man or a woman. All the previous social definitions, the millennia of us agonizing over the incredibly fucking circuitous, difficult, esoteric, philosophical nature of identity, all of it was bunk. It's actually XX and XY. Nobody fucking did that. What they did was say, this is a component to sex. This is a component to being a man or a woman. It's constituent to the definition, but the definition does not hinge upon it. Having XX chromosomes is just another characteristic women typically have. For example, like having a big fucking boobies. Not all women have big fucking boobies. Not even all cis women have big fucking boobies. I've fucked some flat-chested cis women. And there are people who identify as women who don't have XX chromosomes. It's just another characteristic. Like having a vulva, like having big floppies, like having a somewhat softer jaw. And then you've got the social characteristics, like shaving your armpits or wearing the eyeliner. None of these things single-handedly define what makes a man or a woman. So the idea that we discovered chromosomes and then we're like, oh yes, this is it, we did it, this is it, this is what sex is, this is what gender is, we found it, this is the defining characteristic, every other characteristic prior to this was completely tangential, we've done it. It's nonsense. Nobody talked like this until trans people became a thing. Once we started recognizing that trans people exist, like socially, like once we socially acknowledge the existence of trans people, social conservatives, chromosomes aren't even this simple either, completely agree. That's completely true. Once we started to recognize the existence of transgender people, social conservatives had to find a way to ostracize them and exclude them from traditional definitions of masculinity and femininity. So they hung on to this chromosomes thing because it is, at least for now, the only characteristic we can't really change. Nowadays, if you're a trans woman, you can get it all. You can take the hormones, you can grow natural breasts, you can grow fucking C cups with estrogen if you drink enough milk so the milk inflates the boobers. You can get your penis turned inside out. They do like some crazy shit and get a functioning vagina. It may not lubricate, like maybe not reliably as like a cisgender woman's vagina, but fucking okay. There are cisgender women who also have trouble with lubrication. That's hardly the defining characteristic which determines whether or not you're a woman. You can lay all that shit. The only thing you can't really change, at least not yet, is your chromosomes. But one day we will be able to change that too. One day, chromosomes. Oh shit. Right-wingers about helicopter ride memes problematic. Americans do not see how murderers right-wing anti-communist sentinels in Latin America must push back always for fuck's sake. Sells t-shirts various in the helicopter ride meme. For one, Donkey Show, thank you so much for 500 Mexican dollars. Wait, hold on. Currency Mexican to dollar. Hold on. Okay, so that's times 10, so that's 50 times 2. Okay, so that's $20, I think. I think that's about 20 American dollars. Thank you so much for the 20 American dollars or 500 Mexican dollars. I completely agree. Yeah, the helicopter ride shit is unironically like a genocidal meme. Why am I here?
But
Get this out of here. It's some bad shit, hombre. Anyway, the point that I am laboriously, and thank you so much for the money. Seriously, that support is incredibly generous. I really appreciate it. But the point that I am laboriously trying to get to here is that this argument for chromosomes is bunk and always has been bunk, and we don't believe it, and they don't believe it. They never gave a shit about it's not as though social conservatives back in fucking 1870 were like, yes, womanhood defined by the beautiful flowery vulva between the legs and the graceful effeminate wrists and the way their hips sway as they walk. And then somebody discovered XX chromosomes. They were like, oh yeah, that's what makes a woman right there. It doesn't matter what the fuck she looks or acts like. As long as she's got the XX chromosomes, we got it. We got a woman right here. Nobody fucking did this, okay? One day we are going to find a way to change chromosomes at the root level, and then social conserve. If transphobia is still a thing, they're going to say like, well, it wasn't actually the chromosomes. There's just a natural philosophical essence that you have as a man or a woman that's assigned to you at birth, and there's nothing you can do about it. They'll rely upon spiritualism.
Or those who have a deep-seated religious conviction that sex is both biological and binary, God's purposeful creation.
Okay? Jesus Christ. God's purposeful creation. Religious people have used their biblical text to justify bigotry against minorities since the fucking beginning of time.
Here ya go, Vash. It's not much, but I hope you appreciate it. Also, Bash the Fash, you know the usual.
Oh, I know. I appreciate it very much, friend. I'll check that donation out in a second. Anyway, yeah, like people used religious texts to say just like the white man's burden, you know, oh, ye woe, the burden white man suffers as the white man must tend to the lesser races, as a shepherd tends to its flock. Oh, the indignity as the white man must lead around the childish black and the conniving Jew to bring about a civilization in which all of us, human and black people, can rejoice. People have used religious texts to justify bigotry for ages. This isn't an argument.
In December of 2018, Peter Vlaming was fired from his job as a French language teacher
Get
in a
fucked.
Virginia school district because he refused to refer to a transgender student by the student's preferred pronouns.
Good. This is literally just harassment. Hey there, like, you got a black student. Hey there, darky. Oh, you don't like it when I call you darky? Well, you're dark, ain't you? I can see your skin right there. Look at me. I'm white. You're a darky. Like your skin, darky. Ashy palms. There's literally no difference between these two things. There's no difference.
Vlaming's Christian belief prevented him from bowing before the notion that the student who had been a she
I love, by the way, the framing here. His Christian belief prevented him from bowing. Like, instead of just, like, him, the authority figure, the teacher, choosing to use pronouns that made the student uncomfortable, instead it's him, you know, heroically withstanding a tide of Marxian ideological indoctrination.
Vlaming's Christian belief prevented him from bowing before the notion that the student who had been a she in his class the year before was now suddenly a he. Vlaming was willing to use the student's chosen new name, but he avoided using any pronouns when referring to this student. That wasn't good enough for the school district.
Yeah, no.
They needed to hear him say the words.
Or you could just say they. They, as a gender-neutral singular pronoun, has been in use for centuries. Easy. Like, if you're that uncomfortable, if your religious beliefs really prevent you from properly gendering trans people, just say they. Or just say the name all the time. But but from the way this is phrased in this fucking PragerU video, the way this is phrased is that he chose to say the wrong pronouns. He didn't avoid saying the wrong pronouns. He would use the wrong pronouns, but use the correct name. Yikes. Wesley Beatty reminds me of all the people I know in school that raised hell, teacher and students alike, when I refused to stand and say the pledge. Yeah. Wesley Beatty, thank you very much for the $5. It's the same moral panic every time.
You don't have to be religious to believe that one person can never be a they. The Supreme Court has clearly decided that compelled speech is not free speech. In West Virginia State Board of Education versus Barnett, the Supreme Court upheld the student's right to refuse to salute an American flag.
Okay.
Justice Robert Jackson wrote, "If there is any fixed star in our constitutional constellation, it is that no official, high or petty, can prescribe what shall be orthodox in politics, religion, or other matters of opinion."
Yeah, I'm completely fine with that decision. However, it is against the rules of most universities for the faculty of those universities to engage in harassment against the students. This is super simple. Misgendering trans people is harassment. Maybe you don't think that. Maybe you, it's just a pronoun, who cares? Ignoring the fact that cis people get offended if you misgender them, as somebody pointed out in chat earlier. Stepping carefully over that fact. The fact that trans people are willing to live and die on their chosen gender identity is an indication that it is very clearly important enough to them to constitute harassment if you refuse to engage with those beliefs. This isn't some one-off thing. This isn't you enabling delusion. This is a medically sanctioned state of being, transness.
And, Jackson went on to say, the state can't force people to say things they don't believe. But this is precisely what's happening.
Okay. Well, we've obviously evolved our perspective on this slightly. Also, the state isn't forcing you to say anything. That teacher had every right to quit. That's the difference there. Do you remember earlier? Do you remember that student who didn't fucking pledge the flag or whatever? Or cite the Pledge of Allegiance or whatever the fuck it was? You can't just drop out of school when you're in elementary school. If you're in elementary school, you can't drop. If you drop out, that's truancy. That's against the rules. So if you force a kid to salute the flag and recite the Pledge of Allegiance in elementary school, that is literally the state forcing you to do something, because you can't not go to school, and if you do go to school, you have to do that thing. In this instance, this guy who refused to use the student's proper pronouns was fired. That's not the state forcing you to say something. You had every right to quit if you disagreed with the policy of the university. That's your right. The state's not going to hold you there and fucking move your lips to get you to say he when you want to say she. Agatophobia dragon, you can be conceived XY but have androgen sensitivity syndrome, be born a complete woman in the future, maybe it'll block induced sex change in utero. Possibly. Hopefully we can do it past utero too. Thank you for the $5. He wasn't arrested or lost citizenship, so his First Amendment right wasn't infringed. Yeah, the First Amendment doesn't prevent you from getting fucking fired. Thank you for the $5, Radical Reviewer. Complaining about not being able to be verbally abused and harassing, conflating it with free speech, my brain hurts. Alexi Thime, this is what conservatives will always do. To them, free speech is this massive blanket that prevents them from any form of social consequence for their behavior, that they'll pull over themselves at any given fucking opportunity. They love doing this shit. They love conflating First Amendment rights with like workplace, like freedom to do or say whatever you want. Miller Delight, probably not. I appreciate the offer for your monitors, but I've got a big old setup coming.
People are forced to refer to others as they or co or thon.
Nobody is being forced to refer to anyone like this. I'm pretty fucking lib-cucky, and never in my life have I referred to anyone by they, co, or thon. nor will I. I don't like these pronouns. I don't like them. I use they.
Yes, those are now considered pronouns.
Ooh.
What might otherwise be a courtesy now has criminal consequences.
What the fuck do you mean criminal consequences? You don't, if you're misgendering somebody on the street, the police aren't going to show up and arrest you. If you get fired, that's not a criminal consequence. The only way in which there's a criminal consequence to harassing trans people is if you're an employer or if you're a landowner who's renting buildings to tenants. That's it. And those protections already existed for a bunch of other marginalized communities.
In most contexts, I would have no problem addressing others in any manner they chose. And I'm sure most Americans feel the same. But the Constitution's protection of free speech neither begins nor ends with good manners. It extends all the way from rudeness to meekness.
This has literally nothing to do, by the way, with freedom of speech. Nobody is talking about anything which violates their freedom of speech. Protected classes already existed, and there was no criminal consequence to misgendering trans people in any other context in any place in the United States.
Protecting those who hurl insults and those who would prefer to say nothing at all. If the state can compel the use of certain words, it can force those who differ into silence. It can force its citizens to parrot beliefs they do not hold.
Good. If those beliefs are treating trans people like human beings and using their preferred pronouns, fucking good. Hey, I want to do the same thing with my racist great uncle, you know? Hey, up in Uncle Jeremy's head, you know what he's thinking? He's thinking the N-word. All the time he's thinking the N-word. When Jeremy is taking a bath, he's thinking about the N-word. When he's fucking watching Fox News, he's thinking about the N-word. When he's baking pretzels, he's thinking about the N-word. Okay? But you know what? I want to socially fucking condition him to parrot language he doesn't believe in, which is saying people of color or black people or fucking whatever. Yeah, I'm cool with this.
The Fairfax County School District in Virginia removed the phrase biological gender from its curriculum and replaced it with the phrase sex assigned at birth.
Yeah, there's no such thing as a biological gender. Gender refers to non...
I fucking hate it when conservatives bring out the they argument. I, as a trans girl who frequents trans spaces very frequently, have never once come across anyone wanting to be called they.
Me either, comrade. I'll check your donations in a moment. There's no such thing as biological gender. Gender is the non-biological components of traditionally surrounding sex identity, but it expands beyond that now.
This is how the left legislates away the concept of biological sex without ever having to make the argument.
Wait, the left legislates away the concept of biological sex by a single public school county changing their term? Is that how we do it? This is how free speech dies. A single high school county chose voluntarily to change their outdated terminology on gender. This is how free speech dies, with thunderous applause. Da da da. Da da da. Da 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 da.
Argument without ever having to convince anyone.
What do you mean without ever having to make the argument or without ever having to convince anyone? The only what the fuck do you mean? The only real shit that's happened is in California, the bill on healthcare providers potentially facing jail time for persistently misgendering their patients. Fair and valid, persistently misgendering your patients is a form of harassment, and as a medical provider, you are in a position of authority over them. I think that absolutely should result in some form of some punitive measure. And then you have New York, which added trans people to the pre-existing list of protected classes. So again, how exactly? What is this? How is this not convincing people? Because all of these things were discussed in the respective state senates. These are issues that were brought to the Senate, to the state congressional house by voters. They discussed it. They ratified it. They passed it. The bill was written. It was introduced. It was discussed. It was debated. It got passed. How is this not having to convince anyone? The bill within New York applies only to New York. The bill within California applies only to California. What the fuck do you want? What, should the lawmakers have to go around New York and California with a fucking petition and they have to get
keep supporting you on whatever platform. Also trans rights.
Trans rights. And they have to like get the signed fucking signature and consensual support of every transphobe in the state? Is that what it means to convince everyone about having the argument? They're making it sound like this was a fucking executive order. President Obama came back from the dead and signed an executive order forcing everyone to use Z and tho and to refer to everyone else. And if you don't, you're going to be jailed. There's nothing. This is nothing.
They're trying to make sex assigned at birth as trivial and malleable as name assigned at birth.
Yeah,
as if some doctor arbitrarily chose for you on the day you were born.
Well, what you just showed was let's call this one a boy. That's gender. That's why it's called let's call this one a boy. We extrapolate, we assign gender. We don't assign sex. Sex we kind of deduce biologically, usually at birth.
To the extent that the transgender movement seeks to promote compassion for those who struggle with their biological sex, we should be grateful for it. To the extent that it seeks to use government power to regulate our perspectives, commanding that we ignore biology and common sense,
I love this. They can't do it. Hey, if you trans people just want to be nice and cool, we're cool with that. For you trans people who want to exert totalitarian control over the government and force us to ignore biology, common sense, and the word of the good book, we say no. Jesus Christ, get off your fucking high horse, lady. Government power. It's not as though the fucking trans lobby forced New York and California to pass those bills. It was passed by fucking cisgender senators and congresspeople for the most part, or possibly exclusively. Nobody's talking about regulating perspectives. They're talking about bringing trans harassment in line with pre-existing legislation concerning protected classes. No one's asking that you ignore biology. Nobody is asking that you ignore biology. Like what the fuck? Like what? Like no one's saying that if you're like a medical practitioner, if you're like a doctor and you get a trans woman in and the trans woman is like all right, we got to do some checks, and the doctor's like, all right, can we do like a prostate check and a dong check? And the trans woman is like, I have no prostate and this is my pussy. And then the doctor's like, okay, but we really should do a prostate check and I'm a urologist. And the trans woman screams rape, and then the doctor gets taken away and beaten by the leftist government jackbooted thugs. This doesn't happen. No one's ignoring biology, and common sense is a fallacious appeal.
We should resist it. This is no small issue. The Constitution guarantees freedom of speech so that political issues can be worked out in the public square.
You mean like in the legislature of the states in which these bills have been passed? I didn't know you had such a problem with representative democracy, PragerU.
But the activist left doesn't want that conversation to occur. They want to force the adoption of their conclusions before the argument even begins. Compelled speech is...
Where should this argument take place exactly? I've been having this argument like day in and day out about trans people with transphobes. This is some daily shit for me.
The tactic they've chosen. It's unconstitutional.
It's not.
It's undemocratic.
It's not. We're literally talking about democratically elected representatives discussing the viability of a bill introduced to the House and then passing it.
And it's wrong.
It's not.
If gender activists prevail, we may be left with a world we neither recognize
Good.
nor like very much.
Good. Fuck it. I don't care if you're happy. Get the fuck out of my face, you stupid cunt.
We won't be able to communicate
Ow!
our displeasure. We will have lost the words.
What do you mean you won't be able to communicate your displeasure? Wait, what? So the government is not only going to make it so the trans overlords control society, but the government is also going to make it so that you can't complain? What?
I'm Abigail Schreier, for Prager University.
I'm crazy dumb bitch wearing a white suit for Prager University. Let's catch the fuck up with chat. Oh, boy. I can't tell if my chat has caught up or if it's just going incredibly quickly. All right, I think I caught up. First of all, Den onda tvilsirstern. I don't really have anything clever nor funny to say, but enjoy some Swedish smackaroos. I'm pretty sure that Sweden has euros, and you're just fucking with me. But thank you very much for the 50 Sweden dollary dues. I really appreciate it. Agatophobia Dragon, compassion for trans death of fascies. I could not agree more. Chris Holmes, YouTube viewership is looking good. It's the first stream. It'll probably go down to like 300 after the first stream, probably. I don't know. Trans rights or humans' rights rise up. I completely agree. Rizumu Golden Chest. Thank you. Dab on them transphobes. Absolutely philophysics. And Alexi Thyme, if you really want to get mad, do Porcelain's video and interview with Sam Hyde. That is some toxic bullshit. I don't want to get mad, actually. I'm actually cool not getting mad. That's how I got banned on Twitch. And, oh, man. Wow, geez. Friedrich the German, thank you very much for the $3.90. We must secure the existence of communism is huge for gecko children. Careful, buddy. Madame Muff donates $5. I fucking hate it when conservatives bring out the Zay argument. Yes, absolutely. I've never in all my time in trans spaces heard anyone unironically saying like Zay or Z or Zer. ICF, thank you so much for the $5 donation. I love you. I hope I can fucking honk your boobies someday. 2 people named ICF made $5 donations. Is one of you or both of you my childhood friend whose boobies I used to honk? The world may never know. Thank you for the double $5. And Zemku, thank you so much for the $25. That is unbelievably generous. Trans fucking right. Zemku, thank you so much. Wow. I got banned for getting mad? No, I got banned for saying the United States should bomb Israel. Are you sure your ban was for the Israeli comments, not the general violence you discussed on stream? No. In my ban, it specifically said calling for hate speech. It was definitely in the fucking Israel thing. Heroes are revisionists. Dementi, thank you very much for the 20 sex. That's what I'm talking about. I love you. Transmeds or bootlickers. I was a transmed for a while before I fully understood like gender theory, before I really knew what the fuck was going on. I was a transmed or truscum. What's the term that people like to use for that? Holy shit, 868 concurrent viewers. Why the fuck not, huh? Are you still beefing with Hassan? Well, Aiden Hearn, considering that I am banned from Twitch, I don't think it's relevant anymore. It is presently an indefinite ban, but we can get it. Maybe we can get it appealed. We'll see. In fact, I'll check my email right now. Real quick before we move on. All right. No, not yet. We'll get there, okay? How much money have you gotten? I don't know. I don't even know how to calculate all of it right now. I don't know where the super chat money goes. We'll see. Do you have any good gender theory books? I do not. I don't read that much. Have you discussed the right-wing appropriation of leftist language yet? I'm Prison Waifu, by the way. I haven't really fully discussed it because it's something that I'd want to do more research on. Can you show off your hair? Foof. Wow. Am I still mad at Hasanabi? I was never mad at Hassan. Trevin Hudson, if you accept Evo Psych, you must accept that diversity in psychology will happen, right? I'm not entirely sure what you mean, but hell yeah. Thank you for the $5. Alexi Thyme, I'm confused. Does the right or the left hate Israel? The left and the right both hate Israel for different reasons. The far right hates Israel because they hate Jews and they think that Jewish people are controlling the media and pushing degeneracy in like American media and forcing us to open our borders while closing their own and getting hordes of brown and black people to rape our white women and so on. And the left hates Israel because Israel is an apartheid ethno-state that engages in monstrous imperialism to the Palestinian people and to their neighbors. Ah, Avatar fan 10,000. Thank you so much for the $10. That's incredibly generous of you. I love your videos, friend. I hope I get back on Twitch too. Are we going to do the Mueller report on stream? Probably not. I don't want to focus on that content. Explain the trans terms that you were talking about. Being a trust scum or being a transmed, generally, to my understanding, generally speaking, those people believe that you need to have like gender dysphoria in order to be trans. Whereas if you're not that, then you believe that transgender is principally a matter of identity. How can I get my friends to understand trans people? I don't know. Just show them hot trans people until the message sticks. Are you a fan of Chapo Trap House? I don't watch the, I don't listen to the podcast, but I do like the subreddit. I subbed to you 2 days ago and now you're banned, so did my money still go to you? Yes, your money still went to me. The payout still goes to me. It'll be about a month before I receive it, but the money didn't disappear, I promise. I support what you do, comrade. Keep destroying reactionaries. Thank you, friend. I really appreciate that. I will continue to do so. If I wasn't an anarchist, what would I be? A fucking chud? Hold on 1 second. There's something that I want to check. I want to see if my super chats are being added to my YouTube revenue in real time. It would be interesting. Super chat. Super chat. Samirag Egharimis says, enjoyed your Twitch recaps on YouTube but don't want to deal with Twitch. First time in your stream. Looks like getting banned there was good for you. I'll still be going back there when I can. But thank you. I really do appreciate it. Super chat. Super chat. Wait, where can I find my super chat? Super chat. Super chat. Super chat. Super chat. Yes, I'll still get the bits as well. I do not watch the majority report, I'm afraid. Don't mind me. Super chat. Here we go. Clowning around at the speed of sound. All super replayed from a result. See live analytics. Cool. Wow, that's a lot of fucking super chats. You guys are wild. Were you always a leftist, or were you an anti-SJW for a while, like a lot of other current leftists? I was never a full-on anti-SJW, but I was a kind of douchey, like, libertarian dude bro for quite a while. So that was suboptimal. A chud means like a lame conservative. All right, it doesn't look like I can tally up the super chat revenue in real time, but I'll let you guys know, okay? Someone mentioned one to talk about shoe on head videos. Can we do that at some point? First of all, Teresius, thank you very much for the $5. For two, I don't know what to say about her videos. They're so dumb. They're very dumb. There's no real content to bite into in her videos. In the past, were you serious about being autistic? Yeah, I'm actually autistic. Do I still talk with Destiny? No, that bridge is super burnt. Asked you on stream, same time as then. So you have some crossover in their viewers. Ah, well, now that I'm on YouTube. Do you guys consider Vosh to be among the best lefty debaters? Kyle Kulinski thinks he's the best. Okay, guys, I'm not like the best lefty debater. I've only been doing this for a few months. I need years of practice before I have fully internalized the arguments necessary to become like a full-fledged fucking big beefy boy, okay? Why are you an anarchist, not a communist? Principally because I like markets. And I've seen, at least in theory, markets seem to integrate better into an anarchist society than a communist one. Please watch this Sam Hyde interview. My life will be complete. What Sam Hyde interview are you referring to? You can link it in chat if you want me to look. People forget that dysphoria can go away. The ideal is to remove all dysphoria. Just because you don't have dysphoria now doesn't mean you'll never have it. Yeah, that's completely true. That's completely valid. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Avatar Fan 10K, for the $10. I really appreciate it. Donkey Show with the $100 Mexican. I believe that's... I don't know how much that is American. I am Irish laddie. Yes. Thank you very much for the dollary dues, Donkey Show. What's your opinion on Soph? I mean, she's a piece of shit and a Nazi. Yeah. Like, Soph is a Nazi. She's 14. You can have a 14-year-old Nazi. Fucking most 14-year-olds are obnoxious little shits anyway, right? What did Destiny do? Also, I want to dunk on your pronouns take. Maybe later. Wait. I don't know if you're talking about Soph or Shoe Head, Ava, but yeah, of course both of them are going to be wrong. They're reactionaries. That market take was yikesy? No, it wasn't. Don't you ever... No, wait, it's not Teresius. Teresius, I love you. Lazy leftist. Don't you ever fucking tell me that my shit is yikesy unless it's actually yikesy. There is nothing inherently wrong with What the fuck do you mean yikesy? What does yikesy mean to you? Markets are not inherently exploitative, okay? They fucking yikesy. Piece of shit. Stepped on a crack on the sidewalk. Yikesy. Twisted with the super chat. Thank you so much, Twisted, for the $10 dues. I really fucking appreciate it. That's incredibly generous of you. And $15 from Virgil Garcia. Israel is a fascist state. Like the abused become abusers. They hate trans people too. Also, give me your Discord invite. You can find my Discord invite in the video that I did on Clown World. It's in the video description. Thank you so much for the $15. Man, with me thanking all these people, I'm not going to have time to, I'm not going to have time to actually do any fucking questions. Have you talked about the ban yet? Yes, Nurmav KG, I have. I also have a video up on it. Are you familiar with the channel Democratic Socialist 01? He's very, very good. You are a Irish laddie. Dude, you rock. Where can I find Soph's channel? She's an idiot. I'd like to decompose. I don't know where you can find Soph's channel, and I am not familiar with the Democratic Socialist channel, but I can give him a look. I'm glad you think I rock. Thank you again for the second donation of 100 Mexican dollars. I really fucking appreciate it. And I love you. You're beautiful. Can you please do a direct video dunking on JP? It'd be boring, but I could. All right, we should probably focus, shouldn't we? All right, I don't need fucking left comms coming in here telling me that markets are inherently exploitative, okay? I love how fucking sectarian some of you guys are. I'm one of the farthest left people that you can find pushing for... I'm a fucking anarcho-syndicalist, and I go hard on my takes. I'm one of the farthest left people that you can find, one of the biggest far left people that you can find, at least to my knowledge, and still people come up to me, and they're like, hey, just so you realize, you're still exploitative. This you haven't gone nearly far enough. Hold on, I'm getting a call from my GF. What the heck is up, my loving GF? You're on stream, by the way. Is that really the case? Okay, I'll do so. Thank you. Yeah, I agreed. I'll look it up. Okay. Yeah, okay. I'll look it up. Okay, bye. Bye. Opinions on Marxist-Leninism? I'm not a fucking tanky. Big literally and figuratively? Yep, I got a huge fucking dick. That's what I'm talking about. Hold on one second. Okay, just checking something. Don't you mind me. Also, you play games? Risk of Rain 2 and Devil May Cry 5 are fire as fuck. Yeah, I play games all the time. Look at me. I'm a capital G gamer. Look at all my fucking shit. Look at all these games. Look at all that. Look, I got 100% of Binding of Isaac. I get all the fucking achievements in Dark Souls 3. What the fuck do you want from me? I'm a capital G. I got a big fucking dick. You guys can't see it right now because it's hidden underneath the desk. But right now, my 18-inch fucking equine cock is... Oh, can you hear that? It's fucking straining against the underside of my desk. Oh, God. Oh, my God. There's pre-cum everywhere. That's my big fucking gamer dick at work, okay? Non-stop, 24/7, 365 days a year, an average of 82 years per lifetime. That's me. That's what I'm here for, okay? Don't you ever talk down to me again. Go to Mexico to fund leftist commentators instead of the wall, if only. I just want to be able to live a normal life. Fuck transphobes. Lil Zoe 18. We'll get there, buddy. Keep in mind, to those trans people despairing in chat, over the course of 20 years, the average American has gone from not even knowing who the fuck trans people are to people in public office screaming trans rights, to AOC coming on to H-Bomber Guy's gaming stream and saying trans rights, okay? The world is getting to be a better and nicer and calmer and more just place. We're going to get there, okay? Stay strong. Solidarity. Playing Dark Souls with mouse and keyboard, no judgment. I have a fucking gamer pad over there. Jesus. Friendly debate with non-compete and anarcho-communism versus anarcho-syndicalism? Nah, I'm not interested in sectarian debates. Nothing in the universe interests me less than discussing the particulars of some hyper-focused theory, with discussing other far leftists. I would rather spend my time and energy arguing with people who actually are worsening society. Gitler Pol Pot. Nope, I'm afraid the Yang Gang video is dead. It was deleted. There's no way I'm ever going to be able to access it. All right. Let's keep it going. What do I think of social awkwardness? How could I know? I've never felt it. No, that's a joke. I don't know. I would love... yesterday, I was actually planning on talking about NEETs, like hikikomoris, indoorsy people, you know? But I didn't get around to it. I got banned instead. Oh, man. To cater to less than 0.01% of the population is maddening. Demons have taken over. For one, trans people are far more than 0.01% of the population. For two, woo! Religious tolerance. Are you going to play any Blidio blames here on YouTube? Cool to see 800 plus here already. Thank you, David Lamb, for the $5. Absolutely, I will. 100% I will. In fact, I might even do a Blidio blame stream tonight. Was the Civil War about slavery? Oh, man. Good shit. Hot take on Vosh, he focuses too much on facts and debates, doesn't focus on changing the values of the other person. I don't think you can change the values of other people. Listen, generally speaking, transphobia, people who are transphobic, their feelings stem from, like, base disgust and revulsion, not from any, like, factual namby-pamby, what have you. So I can't argue against revulsion. I can't argue against disgust. The most that I can do is present the facts that make them seem stupid and irrational and hope that I have humiliated them to the extent that other people do not follow in their steps. Garhet Smith, thank you very much for the $10, my friend. That's really generous of you. Taking that dirty, dirty Marxist-Leninist money. Much appreciated. Can we focus on a video? To those of you who follow my lore, you might know that a certain John Doyle has been something of a target of mine. We are planning on having a debate of communism or socialism versus capitalism sometime early next month, so early May. And a few days after we solidified those plans, he put out this video, How the Left Justifies Its Violence. And it opens with a cameo from a very special guest of the stream.
I'm ready for the great cleansing, dude.
Cleansing?
The cleansing.
What cleansing?
When we genocide conservatives in this country.
Are you gonna be out in the streets with your Glock?
Maybe. I gotta go back to Nebraska and grab it.
The only good take Destiny has ever had. All right, everyone, let's cringe at the intro. Let's all do it.
John Doyle in. Heck off, commie.
It never gets old.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Heck Off Commie. My name is John Doyle, and what you just watched there before the intro is a really interesting clip of this little beta male named Stephen Bonnell. And
I'm put in an unfortunate position where I must defend Stephen Bonnell here, in spite of my personal present dislike for this man. Because the man who just called him a beta male, John Doyle, is like a high schooler who looks like this. Just much in the same way. Look, okay, I don't think you should make fun of people for being fat, but if you are 450 pounds, you double shouldn't make fun of people for being fat, because that makes you kind of shitty and also a hypocrite. Much in that same vein, John Doyle, I beg of you, do not call people beta males. Don't do it. You're good. Focus on other arguments.
he goes by the name of Destiny, and basically this guy makes a living playing video games and is also outspokenly far left, which is interesting because I don't know that you'd be able to play video games for a living under a collectivist economy, but
For one, Stephen Bonnell is not far left. He is at most a neoliberal. And for two, not all lefties are collectivist, like believe in a collectivist economy. And for three, even under a collectivist economy, yeah, there could be public entertainers who play video games for a living. You're wrong on every possible account here. In every conceivable manner, you are incorrect. Creative Nothing, thank you so much for the $5. How do you think he paid his sister to be in his intro? I don't know. Maybe he did his sister's laundry for a month and promised to stop sniffing her panties. He's wrong on every account here. Destiny's not far left. Destiny doesn't believe in collectivist economics. And even if collectivist economics were relevant here, he could still do that. And even if he were in favor of collectivist economics and collectivist economics didn't allow you to play video games for a living, that still wouldn't be a valid argument, because just because something wouldn't be a valid way of living under your preferred way of life doesn't mean you can't engage in that way of living now. Very much a how can you criticize society when you have a cell phone kind of argument.
But I digress. So what he's talking about here is something that's actually much more common than you would like to believe, which is essentially that it's the belief that has manifested on the radical left that in order to create an inclusive, egalitarian society, conservatives are going to have to be removed. They don't believe in conversation. They reject Enlightenment values of reasoning.
Wait, whoa. We went fucking wild with that one. Hold on.
Conservatives are...
Okay, we got to do this point by point.
Has manifested on the radical left that in order to
He's not radical left.
create an inclusive, egalitarian society, conservatives are going to have to be removed. They don't...
Yes, conservatives are a threat to a progressive egalitarian society. For all of American history, conservatives have fought against the inclusion of minorities. Removed in the sense, perhaps, that they be removed from the country, not necessarily. Removed in the sense that the ideas which they hold need to be excised, almost certainly, yes.
Don't believe in conversation. They
Nobody said they don't believe in conversation. Destiny has argued this point many times. I hate being put in a position to defend Destiny here, but Destiny has argued this position, the validity of calling for violence or justifying violence against conservatives, many times. He has the conversation. It's not like he just says it. He's debated it with people.
Reject Enlightenment values of reasoning, just totally
Reject Enlightenment values of reasoning? What the fuck does that mean? Could say that, oh man, I really needed to piss, but my girlfriend went in there to get a piss first. Even though I know she needs to pee less than me, I'm gonna pee so bad. Oh God, I'm pissing my pants. Oh God, I hate it when my sister rejects Enlightenment reason. What the fuck do you mean?
removed. And I wonder if he actually has a Glock too. So many rappers have
He does have a Glock. He's shown it on stream. He's a pretty big Second Amendment bro.
romanticized Glocks just because it rhymes with a lot of other words. Now everyone's hopping on the bandwagon just because of the mainstream cultural recognition that it has now. I doubt he even has one. I doubt that he could even comprehend the impact that the G17 had on the integration of polymer handguns. But I'm gonna play a clip.
Nice fucking jerking it, dude. John Doyle, my man, way to appeal to those boomers. I doubt he even has a Glock, even though he literally has shown his Glock on stream before. But I digress. The Glock's polymer handle, I bet he doesn't even know that the Glock, the current iteration, was invented in 1968 by Israel, and the man who owned the factory was named Henry Almstein, and together he worked with a patent name like John Maxwell. Like what the fuck are you going on about? He has a fucking gun.
Where he tries to explain his rationale for
do
acceptable
it.
violence against other people here.
We agree that we
Destiny.
can take defensive measures. Generally, everyone in here probably agrees with the concept of self-defense. I'm merely expanding that to a political realm. If you feel like your existence is threatened in the United States, then there are people that definitely feel like they can take defensive actions against it. I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with that. If you can justify your position morally, then it is what it is.
This is actually
Wait, I thought he doesn't do conversation. I thought he just imposes his will on others. This seems like him directly debating the issue with people. Is this not having a conversation?
actually reminded me about how we have to talk about postmodernism at some point. That's the key to understanding all of this.
Postmodernism. What does postmodernism have to do with this?
This actually reminded me about how we have to talk about postmodernism at some point. That's the key to understanding all of this, because what he's doing there is he's making a case for subjectivism and for subjective morality. And we hear
As opposed to what? Objective morality? From the Bible?
this a lot and we think, what? No, this guy, is he crazy? But in actuality, this is by design. The postmodernist interpretation of epistemology is fundamentally that of social subjectivism, whereas the modernist interpretation would be experience and reason is what would distinguish a justified belief from an opinion.
But he was literally talking about justifying a belief. Destiny isn't a postmodernist. He was literally talking about justifying his belief and how the validity of a moral argument against conservatives hinges on your ability to justify that argument. He's literally, Destiny in the clip that John Doyle just provided, engaged in the behavior John Doyle is saying Destiny does not engage in.
Destiny doesn't believe in that. Destiny believes that the individual can decide whether or not they should act violently against other people instead of an objective system by which we have objective standards of morality. And
there is no objective system. Any system, even our legal system, recognizes certain principles, and generally speaking, within the nuances of those principles, you have to make consistent, rational arguments to defend the validity of behavior that you've engaged in. This is how ethics is done. I can't deal with the fucking faux philosophy from this guys. This is very fucking easy. Okay, watch. I'm gonna watch this. Okay, I'm walking down the street. Okay, I'm walking down the street. Okay, flash, bang, kablow. A minute later, I'm standing over a man lying prone on the ground. My knuckles bloody. Blood is pouring out of his broken nose. The police arrive. I decked this fucking guy. What happened? The guy cries out through his broken nose, "He punched me! I didn't do anything and he punched me!" Okay? So this is unjustified assault and battery right now, okay? Kablamo, I'm in the slammer. But wait, I say, cognizant of the fact that actions need to be justified through rational argumentation. I did punch him. However, prior to me punching him, he walked up to me, raised his fist, and said, now I'm going to give you a good beatdown, N-word. Because our protagonist is black. You didn't expect that, did you? You expected a white guy, didn't you, you fucking racists? Our protagonist was black. He raised his fist and said, I'm going to beat you down, N-word. And I defensively, to protect myself, decked him one in the nose. Oh, incredible. The validity of the argument has determined whether or not the action was justified. Alexi Thime, it is when I realized 90% of conservatives' arguments were intentional misrepresentations of their opponents' arguments when I got woke. Yeah, there is no such thing as a good conservative argument. Anyway, this is incredibly fucking stupid. Unless you're a deontologist, or unless you're like a fucking religious dude who believes that all morality comes from the Bible and there's no room for interpretation, then yeah, you believe that the ethicality of an action is determined by your ability to argue in favor of it. This is what everyone does and believes. This is how our legal system works.
And some of that would justify violence. For example, violence against pedophiles is something that I think we can all objectively agree on. I think.
What the fuck does he mean objectively? How is it objective? What if you think it's okay for pedophiles to fuck kids? Also, he said pedophiles, not child molesters. Should we attack non-offending pedophiles? We can just agree on attacking pedophiles, like even if they're just like, even in the pedophile's head, they're like, I'm never going to offend. That would be disgusting and immoral and abusive and exploitative. I'm just going to spend my life fucking jerking it to 3D human adult porn and just try and control my urges. And then we go into that guy's house and kick the door down and beat him up. Is that what we're talking about here? Or, and again, how is this objective? We can objectively agree to violence against pedophiles? No, we fucking can't. Roy Moore is like the leading fucking candidate in Alabama with his little 14-year-old shit. Donald Trump opened the door into the changing room of one of his child beauty pageants while he knew the girls inside were changing. We obviously do not all objectively agree on the immorality of creeping on kids.
We can all agree that pedophilia is objectively bad.
How is it objective? I can't. Oh, God. I'm going to end up pausing every, like, fucking 2 seconds because I cannot listen to the conservatives talk about philosophy. The conservative version of philosophy is boiled down to the most brain-dead conceit. Fucking listen to me. Conservative philosophy is the most Oh, that's not it. Conservative philosophy is the most brain-dead fucking rendition. Like, there's no philosophical consistency whatsoever. They just think that it's all intuitive. It's all feelings. It just, yeah, I feel like this is gross, so it's objectively wrong. What do you mean I have to justify that? Ugh. There's absolutely no consistency. There's no validity. There's no rationale to it. It's certainly not a reflection of Enlightenment values. It is so fucking infuriating. I can't, I'm gonna, every fucking 2 seconds, I'm gonna pause this fucking video.
I'd have to look into it. Like, I can't even imagine that. And you don't have to be a Christian to know that child pornography is quite literally the most evil form of exploitation that exists on the planet.
Wait, whoa. What the fuck does he mean? Quite literally the most evil form of exploitation on the planet. Okay, what about slavery? What about chattel slavery, where you're beaten and whipped every day, fed starvation food, forced to breed women you're not interested in so you can produce children who will themselves be sent to work at 6, 7, 8 years old, and they too will live their entire lives as cattle? I don't know. Like, that's also evil. Can you find me somewhere on the graph of objective evil how child pornography is worse than that? Can we? I don't know. I'm not saying one is worse than the other. They're both really bad. What I'm saying is that he's arguing as though we can assign like an objective moral value to these things that is consistent and deontologically rigorous. And of course you cannot. Conservatives just really like painting their feelings as fact. They get off on it. Space Cowboy, thanks for the $4.99. Why is it every time a conservative criticizes the left or common sense, they strawman them as a poli-sci major? It makes it cringe. Because there's no such thing as a good conservative argument. Guys, never be surprised when a conservative lies to you. And this kid isn't just any conservative, by the way. This kid's a white nationalist. He's dog-whistled pretty hard in some of his other videos, talking about Western civilization and protecting your bloodline. This isn't just any fucking conservative, but this is all conservatives. This feels over reals, this feeling over fact, this believing there's some objective morality they appeal to, and if they're grounded in on it, it's just, oh, I don't know, I just feel that way. This is all of them. Never be surprised when they lie or mislead or misrepresent or straw man. That's what they have to do.
And this person just can't acknowledge that. In fact, he actually gets defensive about it if you watch the planet. And this person just can't acknowledge that. In fact, he actually gets defensive about it if you watch the clip.
Well, we can't all take our moral truths from God.
And there are a lot of people radically left.
That was getting defensive? Destiny saying that we can't all get our moral truths from God? That was him being defensive? What did that have to do with the child pornography thing?
People that believe that pedophilia should be okay, and I'm not going to pretend that that's everybody. That's not what I said.
Yeah.
But and also a lot of LGBT people have come out against this, rightfully so. But the logical conclusion of a society that promotes hedonism, that says, "Hey, if it feels good, do it. I won't judge. I won't be judgmental. Just live your life." The logical conclusion of a society that starts to flirt with the idea of subjective morality is a society in which this type of behavior will have a faction of people pushing for it to be normalized under the name of tolerance and acceptance, and that.
Then why is it that child rape and pedophilia and child marriage were way more common back in the Middle Ages than they are today? And why is the Catholic Church, a very decidedly not egalitarian, progressive, PC institution, complicit in the rape of so many children? It's almost as though there's no relationship between these two things, and like every conservative ever, you're just fucking fear-mongering about pedophilia and child pornography, even though, statistically speaking, it's your side that commits more of that shit. Oh my goodness. Brenna Booth with the 15 euros. John Doyle is my favorite character in the Vosh canon. The Vosh Chit of the Week anime benefits from these recurring characters. I agree so much, my friend. I agree so fucking much. Thank you very much for the 15 euros. That's incredibly generous of you. I really appreciate it.
That's what we were supposed to talk about, tolerance and intolerance. So basically, ignoring the ideological roots of this whole thing that we will readdress in a later discussion, let's talk.
None of this has anything to do with postmodernism.
Talk about something that's called the tolerance paradox, or the paradox of tolerance. For those of you not familiar, it was described by a philosopher named Karl Popper in 1945 in his book The Open Society and Its Enemies, and it basically states that in order to maintain a tolerant society, we have to be intolerant of people that are intolerant, because if we are tolerant to the people who are intolerant, then eventually they will take control and the society will no longer be tolerant. Stay with me because this gets really cringeworthy really fast. So
Cringeworthy? Does it? Okay. How, John Doyle, does the tolerance paradox get cringy?
The left takes this concept and they use it to justify their intolerance of any opinion that doesn't match theirs. And as our pal
The left doesn't use it to justify intolerance of any opinion that doesn't match theirs. I don't advocate for the intolerance towards people who say advocate for like VAT taxes, which we talked about yesterday's stream. I don't advocate for intolerance against a lot of people who I disagree with. There are people who think Smash is a party game. I don't think that intolerance should be levied against these people. It's pretty much just the bigots, actually. It's pretty much just the people who make the world worse, who engage in intolerance and bigotry and exploitation and expropriation. It's generally those people.
And he said, it's up for the individual to decide for themselves what justifies violence or intolerance. Therefore, if you don't like what someone says, you have the ability to decide if they should be allowed to say it. And then, of course, the logical conclusion would be the complete abolition of the freedom of speech, or at least the concept of hate speech.
What does this have to do with the tolerance paradox? He said the tolerance paradox was going to get cringy, but now he's talking about Destiny. Also,
the logical conclusion would be the complete abolition of the freedom of speech.
How is people being able to justify their moral action, the morality of their actions? How does that lead to an abolition of freedom of speech? Virgil Garcia says the logical conclusion of a religious society is brutal theocracy by his logic, backed up by history. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much for the $5.
Or at least the concept of hate speech manifesting as a legal precedent. And they're so consumed by this ideology that they actually feel morally obligated to shut you down if you disagree with them. They feel as if violence against Trump supporters and conservatives in general is justified because you're intolerant, and therefore you have to be eliminated in order to maintain society, which is...
I mean, we can do a bunch of feels. I mean, I could ramble about a narrative if I wanted to as well, and pop in like a little article with just the headline clip that means nothing and indicates nothing concerning support. We don't know the circumstance of that person's assault, nor whether or not their assault was broadly supported by others, nor whether or not it was considered justified. But I mean, whatever you feel, this is very boring for me. You have to understand. I like picking apart arguments, but he's not giving me arguments right now. He's just telling a story.
Is why we have to punch Nazis. Like, sure, but who gets to decide who the Nazis are? Usually actual Nazis are just honest about it. But what you guys do is
Actual Nazis are honest about it. Right. Gostrick Alucard, given the chance the right would squash freedom of speech and Mark Zuckerberg got red pill and began banning feminists, they would not bat an eye. Yeah, of course. Conservatives don't give a fuck about freedom of speech. They never have. They have no principles, save the maintenance of their place at the top of, or at least the middle of, the hierarchy.
you just equate conservatism and Nazism together, which then makes it okay by your own logic to suppress conservative ideas or even assault conservatives. In their eyes, beating a conservative with a bike lock or pouring urine on a conservative is the same thing as Freddie Overstegen joining the Dutch resistance during World War II and
Notice, by the way, that when John Doyle cites good examples of intolerance towards intolerance, he talks about action and principle, whereas when he talks about the left just attacking conservatives for their conservative values, he refuses to discuss the actual values. He talks broadly about conservatism and Nazism and how the left wants to police all speech they disagree with, but he can't actually come out and say it. Racism, sexism, classism, transphobia. This argument would be phrased so much more honestly if John Doyle stepped and was like, yeah, and the left believes that you can justify violence against people who want to legislate that all black and brown people be kicked out of the country so we can maintain a white ethno-state. Ooh, when you phrase the beliefs honestly, it's a little bit harder to justify them, isn't it? Because that's what I'm arguing with. I don't want all conservatives to be deported, but I do. But there are a hell of a lot of conservatives who push ethno-statist values, who push transphobia, who push war, imperialism, genocide, and deportation. I don't know.
Shooting Nazis from her bicycle before she was 18. That's what they think they're doing. They are that disengaged with reality. They are
also projecting pretty hard here. John Doyle, whose opening is literally his fucking LARPing black and white being a 1950s dad who beats his wife, saying that the left thinks what they're doing is being like an anti-fascist in World War II Finland or something. Very, very, very strange to me that John Doyle who constantly engages in behavior that makes it look like he's trying to appeal to this boomer fantasy of like the 1950s like paperboy kid, the cheeky, earnest, precocious little whippersnapper who's going to grow up to be a big political something one day, that he would then basically accuse leftists of LARPing.
They are that cognitively dissonant. Doesn't matter if you get hurt, doesn't matter if you die. As Destiny said, the means justify the ends. And the ends is they're perfectly
Wait, what? The means justify the ends? Did he mean the ends justify the means? Listen to what he just said.
If you die, as Destiny said, the means justify the ends.
So the mean of deporting or engaging in violence against conservatives justifies the end of not having... That's not how it works, John Doyle. Whew. Should have done a second take on that one, my friend, because that doesn't make very much sense. I'm doing this live. What's your excuse?
And the ends is their perfectly egalitarian utopian society that they can pretend exists anywhere except in widely disputed works of political theory. And they think they're...
So engaging in violence against conservatives justifies the utopia? All right.
They're so smart for this. Like, there are actually leftist Instagram accounts that post Occupy Democrats type content that are named after this tolerance paradox. Like, oh my God, get over yourself. Like, hey, maybe you shouldn't throw a bitch fit when someone disagrees with you and they're like, oh, honey, you simply haven't heard of the tolerance paradox, have you?
I don't think anyone does that. Also, this isn't an argument. John Doyle, John Doyle, what are you doing? You're literally just saying, like, oh, get over yourself. You haven't addressed or engaged with any of the ideas here, nor have you really engaged with the central principle of violence against conservatives being justified through, what was it, moral nihilism, postmodernism, whatever the fuck you thought it was. This video is doing a real bad job of engaging with the premises it set forward. Is John Doyle losing his edge? He has been putting videos out more frequently lately. Maybe he's, maybe he's slipping. Maybe he's slipping. He is pretty young. He's got his schooling to take care of. Maybe he does. John Doyle, maybe you should retire. You've had fun, haven't you? Because this literally isn't an argument. Get over yourself isn't an argument.
It's like in the Matrix when Neo's offered the pills. Like, if you take the red pill, I'll show you just how deep the scope of our idiocy goes. Except that's actually like a blue pill thought framework. But anyways, so
what the fuck is he saying? You have a script, right, John Doyle? Beast Nation 2009 may continue to lay at the smackdown. Thank you very much for the $5, my friend. I really appreciate the support. And likewise to JZ689. Thanks for the $2.
Another one they spread around the internet is a quote from a guy named Elie Wiesel that says, "We must always take sides. Neutrality helps the oppressor, never the victim. Silence encourages the tormentor, never the tormented." And they use this to feel really empowered. Like, no, I'm not just pathologically overreacting to everything I see on Twitter because my life is too comfortable and I need something meaningful to fight for. I'm actually better than you because I'm not allowing myself to take the side of the oppressor.
This is all just feelings. He's just like, here's a well-regarded quote concerning the importance of taking sides against oppression and discrimination. Oh, people just use this and their feelings. People look at this and they think that because that justifies them, they get really, really mad. And I disagree with them. Like, there's no argument here for me to even pick apart. All I can do is make fun of his earnestness and make fun of the fact that in spite of him having a script to work with here, he's still utterly incapable of addressing the premises laid out at the beginning of the video.
I'm turning the wheels of history. I reply to every single one of Trump's tweets with a clever insult. I make clever and decorative signs for the protests that I only attend on occasion, but I'm fighting fascism. I'm fighting tyranny. I am Katniss Everdeen. Oh my God. They actually...
This really feels like a tantrum. This really feels like projection and a tantrum.
That's another thing they do. Like, you cannot make this up. This is actually so cringe. They're LARPing.
We're over 900 POG 11,111,111.
Thank you for telling me. It's so cringe, guys. God, John Doyle is really showing his age here. Jesus Christ.
They're like, we were raised on Harry Potter and Hunger Games. What did you think was going to happen? Do you remember the types of kids that would read those books? I mean, don't get me wrong. I like them. But the kids that would...
Are those lefties? I didn't realize the Hunger Games and Harry Potter were like lefty stories. I thought they were pretty milquetoast, like anti-evil, like kid lit.
Would get through the 500 or 600 page Harry Potter book within like days of its release. They're the ones that are going to overthrow this evil government. Maybe if they took a walk through the nonfiction section of Barnes & Noble, they would make the connection between the nation of Panem and totalitarian socialism. Maybe they would realize, oh, wait a second, Katniss was fighting against a socialist regime. And wait a minute, the regime was socialist as a means to keep the people impoverished.
Was it socialist? Guys, I haven't read I haven't read The Hunger Games. Did they ever discuss how the means of production were collectively controlled in The Hunger Games? Bard says, "Hey, good luck, Meta Quebec Kang. You're the only good Quebecois, my friend." Bard, thank you so much for the $5 Canadian. Yeah, can somebody tell me if they talk about anything about the means of production in The Hunger Games? Because I'm pretty sure they were just like sort of a generic totalitarian society that oppressed the poor. I don't know. I haven't read it. How does it feel to be a Destiny clone made by the commies? I am the commie that made me. The Church of Shulkinism? Thank you very much for the $5. I'll take every dollar you throw my way if it's to insult me.
not to empower them. Fancy that.
What is this clip? What is this clip? Why are they squinting at each other? Are they gonna kiss? Is that a shoe?
And that's the other thing.
Oh, that was
guy,
Brad.
Elie Wiesel, he was a Holocaust survivor. He saw what actual intolerance is. The philosopher that coined the idea of the tolerance paradox, that was in his book, in which he heavily criticized Karl Marx and Hegel, and he made a strong case for liberal democracies like...
None of this has anything to do with the central premise. This is nothing. Yeah, the intolerance paradox was coined by a liberal.
Like the United States, and I've said that before. People are like, John, the United States isn't a liberal democracy, it's a constitutional republic. True, but that still falls under the umbrella of a liberal democracy. A liberal democracy can also manifest as a constitutional monarchy, like we see in Japan or Canada, same umbrella. But anyways, he also went ahead and wrote that the thinking of Karl Marx and those like him is the root.
Was that the Canadian flag?
Or Canada.
Is this what the Canadian flag looks like? Yeah, okay. According to people in chat, there was nothing about the government in the Hunger Games that was indicated as socialist.
Same umbrella. But anyways, he also went ahead and wrote that the thinking of Karl Marx and those like him is the root of 20th century totalitarianism. Yes, obviously, but they ignore all that.
Wait, so you're saying that the guy who coined the intolerance paradox is a cringe lord larper, and no one and it's dumb and stupid and dumb? But then you're trying to reinforce the validity of his writing by saying he also totally hated Marx and Engels? Okay. This is kind of weird. I thought, like, for your sake, I thought you'd want to paint the coiner of the intolerance paradox as being a super far lefty, commie, godless, dystopian anarchist, because that would make it easier for you to argue that it's part of the postmodern philosophy of every person's morality is equally valid as every other person's. It seems like you're kind of arguing against your own premise here, that the intolerance paradox and the people who stand by it are in line with the principles of liberal democracy. But okay.
Assuming they even know about it. And they just take the part completely out of context, by the way, and then they just get to use that to silence things they don't like, because, of course, they are postmodernists and they don't believe in objective interpretations. And I hate that. When you compare a genocide to a president that you don't like, you don't actually sensationalize it to a degree on which you can honestly claim that Trump is a fascist dictator.
What the fuck is he talking about? So the guy who coined the intolerance paradox was a Holocaust survivor, and that means that anytime anyone cites the intolerance paradox in regards to a situation, they're comparing that situation to the Holocaust? What the fuck are you talking about?
You dilute the actual significance of the genocide, because anyone who slept through half of an 8th grade U.S. history class could tell you that the two are not alike at all.
So my understanding is you want to clear the air because you think you're being unfavorably compared to Donald Trump.
Don't get me wrong, Conan. I agree with a lot he says. A lot. Like 90% of what he says. I'm like, this guy gets it.
Okay.
What they do...
Ah, yes. Conan O'Brien's show. The hit lefty nexus of establishment resistance. Eagleoid says, Christ, he's so all over the place I'm getting whiplash trying to keep up. Congrats on the new PC, by the way. Thank you. Though with my transfer to YouTube from Twitch, I'm going to have to tighten those drawstrings a little bit, I'm afraid. Thank you for the $10. I will tighten them a little bit less. Yeah, this is an unbelievably incoherent video.
At least the ones who aren't as mainstream, they do this. They say, 1, we have to silence the voice of the oppressors because otherwise they will oppress. And 2, Trump supporters want to oppress you and are Nazis, but they often don't have the balls to state the logical conclusion aloud, which is 3, silence the voice of Trump supporters, because if they did, people would be like, wait a minute, that doesn't sound okay. So they just throw out the first 2 points so that idiots put them together and then give birth to Antifa. You guys act...
Ah, yes, Antifa. The rise of which coincided with Trump's election. Ah, yes, I remember. What?
Actually think you're Dumbledore's army fighting off this oppressive regime that wants to strip your rights away. No, you're fighting for what 93% of the media wants, what all of Hollywood wants.
I don't even know what to do here. Listen, if at the beginning of each of my YouTube videos I played an intro where I'm in like robes and I have a wand and I like pans over me and I'm in the robes and I've got the wand and I like stand next to someone who looks like Harry Potter and together we raise our wands and whoosh 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 and cast like a gross looking fucking fake CGI spell at like a big Hitler or like Hitler Trump in the distance, and then the big explosion cascades into fireworks and light that settle into Vosh across the screen. That would be every bit as cringy and LARPy as the intro at the beginning of his videos.
Let's go grab it.
John Doyle in. Heck off, commie.
This is the young boomer equivalent of what I just described.
Regime that wants to strip your rights away. No, you're fighting for what 93% of the media wants, what all of Hollywood wants, etc., etc. You're fighting for what most of academia wants, specifically within the humanities. And most importantly, you're fighting for what the establishment wants, because you guys are easily stimulated idiots that could be manipulated to serving the higher interest of dividing the country and expanding government to such a level that we're all dependent on the state.
Whoa. Glenn Beck, Alec Jones, eat your fucking heart out. Wait, so the media and academia and the establishment want young progressives to lash out against conservatives so the state can lash out against them and use it as a justification to increase state power and enable totalitarian rule. What? So they're false flag Okay, hold on. So they're false flag agitators who, okay, so why does academia want it? Isn't academia usually benefit from a free society? Does academia want society to be government controlled? Why would the media is made up of businesses? Do businesses want the state to exert more control over society? Wait, the establishment. Okay, so if the establishment sees that there are lefties committing violence against righties, then there will be more of a police state? But the police state is something that's already being supported largely by conservatives, with increased funding to police departments and giving them retired military-grade vehicles and weapons. So that can't be it, because I thought conservatives are the ones... But it wouldn't, if liberals are doing the violence, wouldn't conservatives be the ones to do the crackdown on violence? Or are they saying that liberals are going to attack conservatives and then the conservative government is going to crack down on the liberal agitators and that is going to, and that will make it? That'll do it? I'm so confused. It's almost like it's incoherent conspiracy theory horseshit. Amazing.
Specifically within the humanities. And most importantly, you're fighting for what the establishment wants, because you guys are easily stimulated idiots that could be manipulated to serving the higher interest of dividing the country and expanding government to such a level that we're all dependent on the state. Absolute clown world, you idiots. Stop LARPing. Hey guys.
Man.
The only good John Doyle is one that is dead in Minecraft captured the flag.
Yes. Man, those sure were a lot of dog whistles at the end there.
Of dividing the country and expanding government to such a level that we're all dependent on the state. Absolute clown world, you idiots. Stop LARPing. Hey guys, if you like this...
Man, he went through the whole video without saying Jews. Pretty impressive. So we've already gone over this. The Hong Kong thing is 100% a Nazi dog whistle. When people use that, it's a Nazi dog whistle. Like, I've done this before, but the preeminent video on this, the honk honk video with the memes and stuff, like we can look at the comments. Oy vey, it's another honkler cost. Niggle me this, Batman. What's 13%, but also 50%? There aren't as many racist comments as there were before. I don't know if they've been removed or if they've just been shifted down with time. The extent to which the comment section is infiltrated by Nazis can be fully unveiled in this helpful YouTube video that I made for all of you. This one right here. I did it for you guys. All right. How the fuck are we doing, guys? Let me check the donations. Heated Water, thank you very much for the $10. I really appreciate it. And Jijioku Shoujo, thank you for the $5. Thank you. Friedrich the German, thank you for the €3. Is it worth my time to try and convert my literal neo-Nazi brother? I've tried and it's caused a big rift between us. Yesterday he tried to show me Adolf Hitler, the greatest story never told. Honestly, I do not think so. I genuinely do not think so. Wait, how did somebody follow me on Twitch? It says 27 minutes ago somebody followed me on Twitch, but my Twitch account is banned. Nobody should be able to follow me. Huh. Strange. I haven't been unbanned, at least not to my knowledge. Why does it take so long to catch up with chat? No, my Twitch account isn't back up. Is that $403 from the stream alone? What $403? Oh, no. That's a different account balance. Extra musicam nulla salus. Thank you very much for the 7.87 rubles. It's $2. I'm sorry to hear you got banned or whatever the expression is. English is not my forte. You nailed the expression, my friend. Thank you very much. And thank you for the $2. Yeah, YouTube chat has a fuck ton of lag. No. I didn't make 403 off this stream alone. Yeah, we can check. Yeah, nope. Not happening. Gun ownership is a responsibility, not a right. You have the responsibility to smash the fash. I'm doing my best. What two people do you think have done the worst things in history? The worst two people? I can't possibly codify that. Didn't Genghis Khan, like, kill and rape approximately 1 billion people? I don't fucking know. You should do a centrist video like Bürgerkrieg or an ANCAP like Dapperton. Literally, the first video I ever did on this channel was about centrism. Gotta watch MR. Take care, cutie. Love you, Alex Rampel. Any chance of you making a .gg? Yes, there is a good chance of that. You should do a center. I already answered Radical Reviewer. Don't you fucking cuck me. No worries, Radical Reviewer. I love you. Man, 900 concurrent viewers consistent is pretty good. It's not going to be like that every day, mind you, but... Watch a Sargon video? Sargon videos are so boring. they're so boring. Have you tried Mixer.com with FTL? It is almost no delay. I have literally no idea what you're saying, Eagleoid, but thank you for the $5. The incomprehension with which I am regarding your message was worth the money. You're my favorite masculine leftist? Well, I'm here for you. Yeah, there's a Discord link. Salavala just posted a Discord link. Everyone have fun. Raid the fucking server. Don't actually do that. It's obvious Doyle is a disguised Nazi, but am I looking too much into the exactly two honks thing at the end of the video? No, the honk honk thing is a Nazi dog whistle. Watch the golden one? No! Have I watched leftist memes? Yes. You know about Mr. Reagan, Vosh? I know about the president. Hey, Donkey Show. Spill the tea. We all want to know what happened between you and Destiny. I thought you guys went way back. Well, first of all, thank you for the 100 Mexican dollary dues. Wait, don't you guys all know what happened between me and Destiny? Isn't this public knowledge? I watched 1791 literally yesterday. Sorry you guys weren't here for my enlightened Twitch streams. You're almost as hot as Ollie? That is a pretty high compliment, Friendly Skeletor. Thank you. How do we sign up to be mods? Aiden here, and don't worry about it. I've already got a mod list going on. The kill stream is still on Eso Lycan, but it's going to be sometime in the future. Thank you for the $2. You and Black Redguard are the only good leftists on the YouTube? I wouldn't say that, but nonetheless, I really appreciate the sentiment. Watch Finnish Bolshevik? Probably not, no. Have you seen Honk Honk 2? Yes, I have. It is good. Review Molyneux playing Minecraft with his daughter? That's going to be a bonus Patreon-only stream. What do you think of Bomberman's free speech video? I haven't seen it. Do you guys really not know what happened between me and Destiny? Okay, it's super fucking simple. Okay, this really isn't, like, interesting or dramatic or anything. The gist of it is that about 5 or 6 years ago, I started occasionally popping on Destiny's stream to argue with him from a more left-leaning perspective. Which is, fine and dandy and good and what have you. Then, about, I want to say 3 or 4 months ago, I started this YouTube Twitch stuff, right? Got it started. Kablam. And even though I had kind of gotten my start, my introduction to the public eye, on Destiny's stream, he didn't really want to acknowledge me, which was a little bit weird. Like, he wouldn't really mention me. He didn't really want to seem to talk to me when I went into his Discord server to talk with him on the voice channel. He just didn't seem like engaged with me, but whatever. He's a busy dude. He's much bigger than me, so I'm not going to fault him for that. But then there was drama between me and Hassan, where Hassan was upset with me for vying to take the spot in a podcast that Hassan declined to be a part of. Hassan felt like I was taking it out from under him. So there was drama between myself and Hassan, and that drama spread like wildfire. I got banned from Hassan's Discord, and Destiny commented on it and said that I was going a little crazy. He said something like, yeah, this happens with a lot of people, like once they get a few viewers, they go a little crazy, which I think is a pretty diminutive way of referring to the situation. And then about a week and a half after that, the Poppy drama, which if you're interested in, you can see detailed exhaustively in a YouTube video that I made on the drama. I'm going to point it out right now. This one, from 2 weeks ago, in regards to recent drama. Some Poppy drama. Destiny dragged me on to his stream and engaged in what I would consider to be a somewhat uncharitable a somewhat uncharitable takedown of me, and kind of sort of fucking dogpiled me and witch hunted me, and spoke very disparagingly of me over the course of that and over the days following. After that, I was banned from Destiny's Discord, and I was banned from Destiny's Twitch, and I was banned from Destiny's Reddit. I was full banned from everything, which was unfortunate because this is a community that I've been a part of for like nearly a decade, literally, since he was streaming back in Justin TV. And now there are a lot of cool people that I like who I can't really talk to. which sucks. And any reconciliation with Destiny is absolutely impossible at this point. So watch this video called 50 Real Differences Between Men and Women. You didn't link a video. Do links just get blocked?
Brain scans, controlled studies,
Oh, no. Let's be real, that shit Destiny did to you in a stream was super bad faith actor shit. Oh, it 100% was. This isn't a trial, this is an execution. I have a feeling that Destiny didn't like me for months beforehand, and that he was eager to find an excuse to, like, take me down, you know? It's the only explanation that I can think of for his, for his incredibly uncharitable behavior. And for him, like, shit-talking me afterwards, and then the YouTube video being put up specifically about shaming me. Pretty yikesy stuff, IMO. Here, I missed a couple of super chats. This is to take down JP before Zizix does. I mean, I feel like I'd just be repeating a lot of the points that Ollie made in the Philosophy Tube video, right? That's still pretty fresh in everyone's mind. Hang in there, bud. Hope things work out real soon. Fruit, thank you so much for the €5, my friend. That's incredibly generous of you. I really appreciate it. What about left unity? I mean, Destiny isn't a leftist. Brains behind AOC, grifted alt-writer into being shut up by Glenn Beck and Hannity. Ugh. Yeah. All right, well, what are you going to do? I'm doing pretty well for myself now. Though I would really like to go back to streaming on Twitch. I enjoy your content more than Destiny's. Well, hey, I appreciate it. You know, why does he hate you seems kind of random too. I don't know, and I don't want to speculate either, because that's kind of cringy, you know? He did delete the video from YouTube, but it took him 2 days to do so. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I was more of a symbol in his community that he wanted to excise more than anything. What are you gonna do? You'll persevere, your brain is too big to fail. That's not necessarily true. What do you think of Badmouth Productions? Do you know of his channel? I know of his channel. I think he's a cool duderino. Got a lot of love in here, comrade. Yes. All right. Okay. Stop. 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 Stop jerking me off. Beau of the Fifth Column seems cool, but I've never watched any of his videos. I don't really I don't like engage with many leftist news sources, to be perfectly honest. Take on Slazhov versus Peterson. I mean, obviously I'm a fan of Slazhov and not of Peterson, but I don't think it's going to be a particularly interesting or fruitful discussion, to be perfectly honest. Play stream on YouTube from now on. The UI is so much better here. Guys, trust me. When I can, I'll be getting back to streaming on Twitch. Twitch is so much better for long-term growth, and the communities that I want to engage with are there, not here. I like Twitch culture. I don't know what the fuck YouTube live streaming culture is. I don't know who streams here. I don't give a fuck about the people here. I've got Twitch streamers that I want to support and host and communicate with. As long as I'm banned from Twitch, I can't appear on any of their streams. I'm completely blacklisted from Twitch. That's the community I want to be a part of. It's the community that I've been a part of for nearly a fucking decade. Jeff Allen, thank you so much for the $5. IMO, you're currently the best, most interesting leftist commentator right now, and I love the others too. Destiny, Kyle Kalinske. That is incredibly generous of you, my friend. It is a lofty title that I accept begrudgingly. I love you, from you specifically. Maybe consider simultaneously broadcasting both YouTube and Twitch. I'm afraid I can't do that. Once I become a Twitch partner, there are rules against that. Yeah, YouTube culture is being able to say the N-word. I want fucking emotes. Hey, look, if nothing else, maybe you guys being here, if I ever get my Twitch back, it'll be like, hey, maybe you guys will come over now because you have gotten a taste for it. I don't know. Whew, I'm feeling a little lightheaded. I didn't have a chance to eat anything before stream. Yeesh. Options of current UK politics. I'm going to assume you meant opinions. Dude, the UK is fucked. Are you kidding me? The UK is fucked. 100%. Yeah, 9,000 consecutive viewers. Actually, you specifically going so far as to say punch anyone who says something is apolitical is one of the reasons I'm here. Did you not like that variant node? Could you go back on Twitch if you wear a ski mask and use a voice changer in the stream? I'll research my options, okay? I'm tired. Yeah, I'm pretty hungry. Here's an idea. I have a genius idea. Oh. All right, my friends. Democracy now. Get in there. Can someone explain why Vosh got a Twitch timeout? I didn't get a Twitch timeout. I got indefinitely banned. Using Woooooo cringe? I do cringy shit all the time. Fuck off. I didn't get a little heated while reading that Fash stuff. I got pretty fucking heated. I'm so conflicted, Deadhead animation or Vosh. You know what? Whatever your heart calls out for. Pushing into the extreme helped sell it for me. I watch a lot of leftist channels, so it's kind of hard to squeeze any more in, but this is worth it. Well, that's really considerate of you. I really appreciate it, friend. John Doyle intro parody now as a factual communist. Yeah, it's true. I do have a lot of I do have a lot of fucking cringe remakes that I need to do. I really hate how long the delay is. There's like a 40-second delay. Next time I stream, I will make sure to find a way to get that to not fucking have this much of a delay. Will you post VODs? Yes. Why were you up so late last night? I wasn't up that late last night. I went to bed at midnight. What do you want from me? Well, guys, I'm honestly torn. What do I do? I definitely need to... Genius. Hold on, folks. We've got a solution. Hold on. Congratulations, my friends. This is now a dumb baby stream. Whoosh. Gonna do a hop. She wants to be in the computer. She longs for the technology. We gotta go for it. Oh no, don't go around. No. Okay, get back here. No. This is your hat. No. No! No! She's gonna die! Oh, she's dead. Alright. Come here. Alright, everyone, say farewell. Bleep. She's a very good baby. My viewers better have tripled during that. She is beautiful and perfect. There we go. That'll do. A drop in viewers? You fucking cucks. Ah, well. Trendy Mirror, I hate it too. We'll move to Twitch again if we can. Oof. All right, listen. I'm hungry as shit, okay? I'm gonna go over one more video. Yeah, by the way, everyone who left because there was a gecko up, not a true fan of mine. Not a true fan.
Was trending the other day, and
all right, I'm ready. This is a video that was suggested to me a little while back, and I've wanted to do it for a while because I find this woman's voice extremely obnoxious, and that incentivizes me to really go hard on my game. Ugh. Have you ever engaged in the ethical arguments for veganism? Yes, I have. Let's do it. Jesus Christ, it's so frustrating. You guys are like a minute behind me. I can't even really respond to chat like this. It'll be a lot better next time when I figure out how to get super low latency. But right now, Jesus Christ. Let's do it. Let's go. I'm ready!
resist capitalism was trending the other day, and I find this hashtag incredibly insulting.
Insulting?
And the only time I take offense to anything is if someone insults my family.
Oh.
And I'll get into why this hashtag is insulting to my family in just a minute.
Oh.
But first, how stupid do you have to be to not acknowledge the self-refuting aspect of the existence of this hashtag?
I'm ready for it. How can you criticize capitalism when you use Twitter, a service provided to you by a capitalist business? Checkmate, libtards. You want to improve society? Well, you live in society. Fucking idiot.
You're using Twitter, a publicly traded company, off of your smartphone, which you bought at the Apple Store, while drinking a latte that you got on your way back from Whole Foods, and you sit in your room and there's a full closet of clothes that you never wear because you can always buy new clothes because you're pretty fairly compensated at your very low of risk, low effort job that keeps paying you to incentivize you to keep providing them your time and labor.
All right, I think you extrapolated a little bit there, but yeah, let me bring this argument back a little bit, a couple centuries, if I may. You waifish peasants, you deign to criticize the aristocracy, yet the carts which you use to wheel grain to the market were built by the gold of the king. That's how aristocrats back in the 1400s laughed. You deign to criticize society when you work the farms most generously leased to you by your lord? Oh, the hypocrisy. It's overwhelming. All right. We can all say it together. Using elements of a social system do not prevent you from being able to criticize that social system. Got it? Got it?
This kind of hypocritical bile could...
It's not hypocritical. Also, bile, feels over reels. Got him again, boys.
only be spewed by the new generation of whiny, entitled spawn of the well-to-do baby boomers.
Really? Because, really? Because I thought criticizing capitalism was an intellectual tradition that dated back to the mid-19th century. Ah, yes, Marx, famed child of baby boomers, who wrote Das Kapital in ye old 19th century Starbucks while sipping on, I don't know, tar? What did they drink back then? Tar? Diesel? Radical reviewer, Twitter equals free content provided by the public. Yeah, Twitter doesn't provide anything other than the platform. What we get from Twitter is the services of other Twitter users. Thank you very much for the $4.20 mini dollars. I really appreciate it, friend.
So why is this hashtag so offensive to me? Like,
Why?
I am so
Is it because conservatives get triggered really easily?
emotionally crippled by its existence that I couldn't be bothered to do my hair. I wore a hat instead.
Wait, she's actually like a triggered snowflake. What? She was so emotionally crippled she couldn't even bother to do her hair? Okay. That's on you, bitch.
My family lived through socialism.
Oh,
We
no.
moved to a country that has capitalism because it was so awful. And even after the Soviet Union collapsed, it was still awful because of over 70 years of collectivist thought that totally tainted any kind of progress that the country is even trying to make today. I had
Oh, no. My family came from a totalitarian... My family came from a totalitarian state, and now we're enjoying your superior but nonetheless flawed state, and I get so mad when people criticize it. Can you imagine this in any other fucking context? Can you like fucking just imagine like the turn like fucking Martin Luther is nailing his list of reforms to the door of the Catholic monastery, and then he gets approached by like a fucking, I don't know, a Syrian Moor, someone from like fucking Constantinople, like, hey, how the fuck can you criticize the Catholic Church when the place I came from was so much worse? What the fuck are you talking about? This is a non sequitur. I legit, like, what the fuck is the point? I'm so offended.
family die because they were overworked in camps and on their land. Equality does
Wait, do you think this woman's family actually died through overwork in camps? Do you really think that? Because the death rate in gulags wasn't actually that high. They weren't concentration camps. I'm not defending gulags. I'm not a tanky. Fuck gulags. Fuck slave labor. But they weren't death camps. The gulag death rate was highest at World War II, but it dropped off after that. If this girl's talking about like great-great-grandparents, then maybe, yeah, but worked to death in a camp, somehow I doubt that, you know. Guys, communist Russia was pretty bad, but it wasn't like every day you just like drop. You just collapse from the work. It's not...
doesn't mean everyone's kumbaya living happily. Equality means grow your own crops and hope to God that there isn't an early frost, because if there is, your entire family starves to death. No, it gets worse. If you
By the way, just want to say, this is not exactly representative of the average fucking Soviet experience, just so you guys know.
If there is, your entire family starves to death. No, it gets worse. If you were really unlucky...
Is this whole thing just going to be her complaining about and over-exaggerating the... Like, I can do this too. I can do this. I can move to another country. Oh, you want to critique socialism? I came from America. In America, you can't even get health care unless your business offers it. And the premium rates are insane if you buy it elsewhere. In America, all it takes is one medical emergency for you to be spiraled hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, essentially making you a wage slave for the rest of your life. You have no chance of overcoming that debt. Bankruptcy doesn't even cover student loans, and some medical costs can get transferred to family members. And you want to talk about predatory fucking institutional practices between the legal system, which is so backed up that 90% of convictions are made through plea deals, between the fact that payday loans are still ineffectively regulated, meaning most poor people who want to get like spot cash to deal with like a broken car or like bail bonds or shit like that, spiral into debt afterwards. How can you criticize socialism? I get so mad. Capitalism is bad too. Jesus Christ.
You weren't even allowed to plant seeds the correct way. You had to plant seeds in a way that corresponded with the spirit of the Socialist Party.
Is that it? Do you think farmers were planting seeds, and then the member of the Communist Party, like the state worker, the fucking commissar would show up? That is Storyovich. No. What are you, some kind of imperialist? No. This is how an American would seed their crops. Americans would use fertilizer to deaden the land with cow shit. No. Here in Soviet way, all seeds are equal. We piles them all together in big pile in center of farm. And then we shovel dirt on, and we add 1 drop of water for every seed put together in pile. This is Soviet way. Look. And then they pull out like a big fucking manifesto. As you can see here, in the guiding principles of the Bolshevik government. Like, what the fuck is she talking about? Yes, the farms were collectivized. Yes, there were public standards on how farming should be done. What the fuck are you talking about? Done in the style of the Soviet... What the fuck does this mean? Vosh check mod chat for how to enable real-time streaming for 0 delay. What is mod chat? I don't know what mod chat is. Oh, my Discord mod chat. All right, hold on, kids. Gotcha. Stream options next to basic info and title cards. I'm pretty sure I can't do that now. I would have to do that for the next stream. Did we get banned? We didn't get banned. What are you talking about? Wait, hold on. First YouTube stream, woo. She was talking about Lysenkoism, which was a giant mistake. Yes, I agree. It was a giant mistake. I'm not denying that. There were a ton of really fucked collectivist practices back in the day, back in like communist countries. But the way in which she's just cut the stream for a second, I'll give it a shot. If I lose 800 fucking viewers, this is on you, LTS. Everyone, hold the fuck up for just 1 second. I'm going to enable low latency streaming, okay?